closer to your side. Take your page out of my story. I don't mind. No. Move. Keep it steady, never falter.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Baird with the Rumination Project and tonight's Psychonaut Files. Tonight's subject, we're going to have a very interesting discussion about meditation and mushrooms. And as always, here's my co-host, Rhino. What's going on? You're on mute there.
Hello, everybody.
There you go.
Hope everybody's having a good night.
Ready to get this party started tonight and have a nice discussion about meditation.
Absolutely.
And mushrooms. And as always, we're going to hit those shares, hit those likes. I'm going to try a new thing tonight about followers. And it works. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Hit the followers. Heck yeah, you can. Apparently you can do that. So that's what we're doing. All the followers over in the Rumination Project, because nobody ever watches over there. Everybody's at Misfit Island as always. What's going on, Tommy? How you doing?
Hi, Tommy.
I'm gonna go over to Great Mushrooms now and hit at all the followers over there. Please share us out. Hit those reaction button, folks. It really helps us move up in the algorithm so we can help educate more people, especially tonight on meditation, because a lot of people kind of don't understand what meditation exactly is or struggle to actually meditate. Hit those at followers.
I know for me, meditation is, and I've got away from it, but I'm getting back to it. It's been a big part of my recovery, especially in my early days. You know, my first year, I learned how to meditate, and I was only at a couple minutes. You know, I could barely even meditate. There was so much going on in my mind. But once I got a clear mind and a clear head, I was up to about 20 minutes. I could sit there and meditate, and that's a long time, you know. And you can get a lot of clarity in that 20 minutes, you know, and it's really nice and it's really healing. And it's a good way to get because I used to wake up and I do prayer and meditation, you know. I'm more on the religion side, well, kind of, you know, than maybe Dan is, but that's one of the things I used is prayer and meditation in my recovery, you know, and I'm not knocking that by all means, but, you know, that's one of the things that I would pray for, to ask questions, and I would meditate and I would get answers, you know, and it's just, you know, kind of being mindful, you know. What's mindful is, if you guys remember what I talked about, it's thinking about something on purpose without judgment. And sometimes meditation is just thinking about nothing, you know. So there's different kinds, different types, and we'll talk about more of it tonight.
Yeah, the biggest people aren't aware of is that when you listen to music, you are meditating, and a lot of people don't understand that when they listen to music, then they may be emotionally moved. That's more to do with how it connects to your brain than the music does. Now we all like our specific kind of music that emotionally moves us, but when it does, that means it's reaching our brain. It has a profound effect on our brain cells and causing kind of a meditative state while you're actually, you know, conscious and not like the normal term that people think of meditation. They think that you have to be like a monk and in a silent place and, you know,
right,
for hours, but that's not what it is. You can have it in 10 minutes.
And another thing, you don't have to sit there like this,
right?
You know, it's not all that, you know. Sometimes it can be just simple. This is how I meditate. I'll just sit there and chair like this. You know, I've done it many times. I've meditated on this, not actually shitting. Well, I guess I have. But sometimes just slipped into the office. When I was a counselor, I'd go into the office or the bathroom. I mean, and I would sit there for a minute or 5, and just do a quick meditation and kind of gather my thoughts, and calm down a little bit, and then I'd go back to work. Good recharge.
Right. So there's a normal, meditative state without using psychedelics, and then there's using psychedelics and meditating, and that it's an even more profound effect. And that's why I wanted to mention these two together, because they both, when together, the healing happens. And this is the reason that I've had profound healing, is the fact that I use music. I integrate music a lot into my psychedelic therapy. I take it very seriously, and I choose music that has a profound effect on my brain, based on a lot of Eastern cultures. So it's chakra music. I use chakra music to meditate while I do psychedelics, and I have, very profound effects. What's going on, everybody? Forget to hit them reaction buttons. I'm still over here tagging stuff and hitting sharing out. So
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
are you over on both of your accounts, Rhino, Bruce?
I'm working on it.
Oh, I didn't know if you were. I was gonna. Nope. Okay. I'm just trying to get us out in the algorithm, get some more people in here, and I'll.
Yep. I'm getting ready to share it to my page.
Here we go. Get some more. And I'm gonna go. And actually there's a good one there. All right, I think we're shared out now. What's going on, Debbie? Hey, Bud. Tiffany, what's going on? And tonight we're going to be talking about meditation and magic mushrooms, and how they both integrate very well. How when you use both of them together, there are profound healing effects that happen, even more profound than just using a psychedelic. And I've done a lot of experimenting myself between using silence as a form of meditation and using the chakra music, and both work very well, but both do very different things. For instance, I use my chakra music to actually find healing. So I usually use it to approach darkness. There's 7 different chakras, and they make different frequencies based on those chakras. And you can actually find YouTube videos all over, based on that. So I use that, and then I actually use silence to find happiness. Sometimes I sit in a room and pure silence, and that's where I find the real joy. But then I use the music to kind of approach darkness. So it's things I've figured out over the couple of years of using psychedelics and how they affect on the brain based on silence and music. And they both have very profound effects, and they all work very differently for everybody. So not saying the same way that I do it works for you. So.
Hi, Debbie. Hey, Bud. Hi, Tiffany. Hey, Tommy. How's everybody doing? Thanks for coming in, sharing your time with us.
Yeah. Got a nice new background too, the Psychonaut Files. And we need to give that giveaway. I actually was going to give a giveaway, and I totally forgot what it was. See if I can remember what I was going to give away. Heck yeah, we'll just do that. We're going to give away the coconut oil, or the Romulan coconut oil. Also have another strain.
Ooh.
And I actually have the hashtag up, but let me get it going. Let me get that hashtag and giveaway going here. And I got to get over to the giveaway site. And we are going to make the hashtag is going to be, what was it again? Great River Canna Oil. Let's do that. This is a different strain. I do not know a lot about this Romulan other than it is a good day smoke. It actually, when I grew it kind of tasted like snap peas. It had an interesting smell when I was growing it. Great River Canna oil. Okay, spelled it right. Let me get that up there so people know we have a giveaway.
Goodness.
There we go. Great River Canna oil. We'll get that going, get that giveaway going. Because I did say that in my advertisement that I was giving something away. So this is it's called Romulan, like I was saying. This is a strain that I grew a couple times. I never did grow it again. It was a decent strain, but it was kind of mid par, not, I only can keep like 3 or 4 strains. So I didn't grow a mother plant of it. But it was good smoke. Definitely would recommend growing it, but I just have 3 other ones that are just more potent strains. And go ahead and check out Great River Mushrooms. I guess I forgot I had a new ad for Great River Mushrooms. So as always, Great River Mushrooms is our sponsor. And let me play that video here. Let me bring that up and show our commercial here. Heck yeah, that's awesome. I love the fact that I can push CBD and CBG now and nobody gives a shit. That's
I know,
thing
right?
I like the most. And it's an exciting new time we live in now. I think that people don't realize how powerful CBD and CBG are until I start educating them and they start seeing the effects. So I'm actually this farmer's market I'm going to Saturday. This is probably going to be the least amount of mushrooms I've gone with. So I'm really going to be pushing my herbal medicine this week, and I get a lot of really good conversations with people when I start talking about herbal medicine. So I'm excited about that. Excited about being Great River Mushrooms and herbal now, and actually helping people find alternative, cheaper medicines, and everything else is so damn expensive.
Right. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Karina. Hi, Mama Rochi.
Thanks, Jimmy.
What a lot of people, get, I think what turns them off is the CBD and CBG. It's not psychoactive, and they're like, well, but just because it's not psychoactive doesn't mean it doesn't have medicinal effects. And it's really, really great for a lot of things, and just a lot of people that can't smoke the THC, because sometimes smoking the psychoactive part of it gives people anxiety. And that's understandable, to each their own. Everybody recovers and everybody takes things differently. Medication treats Dan maybe different than me. So, you got to kind of find your right stuff and your right dosage, so just, it's a matter of doing, taking the information that you get from us and other places and doing some research on your own, and some trial and error, just kind of see what works for you.
And we'll just show that website real fast. I'm just going to go through. We actually have $2 off, and all infusions, just use Infuse2 at checkout. But you'll see it's pretty easy to use. Go to shop. We have different categories, and you'll see that we'll actually be adding more stuff to it as we go. And it shows right here we have the infused coconut oil and as well as our honey. So all are on sale. The CBD, CBG capsules lines, man, as always, go check us out. We have a lot more than just mushrooms, folks. And we try to do next day shipping as well. So
The speedy delivery man.
and we'll bring back up that giveaway.
Great River can of oil.
Thank you, Debbie. I tried to be the most affordable prices, and I'm even competitive with Amazon. So, and Cindy, CBD, CBG are basically, they're good for an overall body health. So, kind of whatever issues you have, CBD and CBG will have some kind of an influence on it. But it really influences pain management, depression, and anxiety. Those are the really three things it targets. Is that CBG?
No.
Oh.
Just a nice bud.
So see, I have anxiety and then I have ulcers. So I have something called bad bacteria overgrowth. It's when you have too much bad bacteria and it leaks into your small intestines. And CBG is really good for that. It's helped me deal a lot with that. And then the CBD and CBG together are just really good for anxiety. But the CBG definitely has an effect on the digestive system and even deeper into the small intestines, where it has influences on your gut bacteria as well as just helping with ulcers. So I can tell when I take mine, and then I can tell when I eat sugar too, because I was telling them when I eat sugar, my ulcer gets flared up, and then my back starts to hurt because that ulcer is on the back side of my intestines, and which is on my back. So the CBG really helps. So when I take that, it lessens the effect of being inflamed. But I just have to stay away from sugar. Sugar really inflames it, and I can tell when I eat a lot of sugar that it does. But that's the effects of aging. As you get older, you can't eat as much damn sugar because your body just flares up, inflames from it.
Yep.
I can't eat sugar like I was a kid.
No, not at all.
Yes, I do. I do have a CBD and CBG infuses together. It has a lot stronger effect when it's mixed together. It causes the I can't remember that term. It causes an effect where they basically, when the cannabinoids are combined, they actually work more effectively. But I do sell CBG separately. I do not have it on my website, but if you are interested in CBG only, you can message me and I will make that for you, because I can make custom orders kind of. But I do not sell a lot of CBG because I do the infusion with CBD and CBG. So that's your best bet, is to go with that. You really see the effect, and I hear it every week after I sell it, and somebody comes back to me and they tell me how great it works. So I love making medication that works and then hearing how good it works in when it has beautiful bodies. Yeah, the entourage effects. Jimmy, thank you for helping me. That's the word I was trying to think of. And will it help with Crohn's? I'm not really sure. I don't know a lot about Crohn's disease, so I'm gonna have to claim ignorance there. I don't really know what the effects are there, and I've never given it to somebody. But I'll research that, and I'll definitely get back to you, because that's a good question.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Oh, hold on, I got an echo.
And the reason your meds probably these work better than your meds is because we all have an endocannabinoid system in our, and we all have these kind of cells that can absorb these cannabinoids, and that's why you may have something else that doesn't work, and then try CBD and CBG, and it can have a profound effect because it works so well with what's naturally in your body, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm cutting out here, the dang internet. Come on, internet. It's on one cell now. Let's close more of my browsers. I think they're all closed.
Jimmy Mead says it helps with Crohn's. CBD helps a lot with Crohn's.
Gotcha. That's why Jimmy's here. Jimmy's the OG of information, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
Cindy, I wouldn't recommend it unless I knew it worked. And like I said, I've had similar people come to my farmers market stand, and a lot of times they take my information and they go home and do their own research, come back and buy it, and then even the week after that they come back and say how well it's done something in their life. And it always seems to be random. It does so many different things.
Yeah, Jimmy Mead's like a cannabis encyclopedia, but he is a stoner, so it's not alphabetical.
Right. So we'll get that banner down there at the bottom. There we go. And I got this cool thing too as well, guys. I got a smoke freezer.
Yeah.
Misfit Island. This thing is actually a device that allows you to chill cannabis and smoke it it's at negative 27 degrees Celsius right now inside this chamber. So it comes in through this ash collector through here, and then comes in through the device where it's actually using a chilling system to cool it down. And it has this cool computer fan that he uses to chill it. But yeah, it's really awesome. And it comes with filters, and it's really changed the way I smoke. I feel like I'm getting all the cannabinoids now. And I was smoking cannabis before and it was making me tired. Now I'm actually smoking it and it's not. So, which is weird because I'm smoking the same strains. So I feel like I'm getting more terpenes, more cannabinoids, and that's, oh, you took yourself off screen.
Oh.
Do you need to figure it out? Ah, there you go. It's at the bottom anyway. So
yeah. There it is. I'm still learning, guys.
Lion's Mane works with CBD for me. Yeah. When you take them together in the same day, they have, more profound effects. I feel like take the Lion's Mane in the morning, CBG at night. See, I still don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. I think it's, what is that? 5 degrees Fahrenheit? Is that what negative 27 is?
Oh, I don't know.
What's going on, Jeremy? How you doing, man?
Hi, Jeremy.
Got another Facebook user?
Facebook user.
Hello, everyone. It's not Debbie because Debbie's here, so her name's up here.
Right. We seen her earlier.
I think there had to be another stream going on because it was kind of slow, people getting in here, but now they're finally here. I saw Lord Leaf Cycle was live too, so.
Yeah.
Grow Fam was live
for a little bit.
What's going on, Angelita? Jeremy. 18 degrees. See, I don't know my math. These dang metric systems screwed me up.
I hear you.
But I do mushroom farming, so I have to understand metric and American standards, which is because they're kind of mingle when you do mushroom farming, and it's confusing. Oh, it's Stacy. Weird. Facebook's just weird like that. Today I was just strolling through Misfit Island, and all of a sudden it kicked me out, made me log back in, and then I had to do a 2-step authentication. It was silly.
Well, there's the link 6 times, 5 times.
You guys can find it in all the links.
Yeah.
Go there and give StreamYard permission to show your name from Facebook, because StreamYard and Facebook are 2 different companies, so you got to give your permission to them to use your name as well.
Yeah. Otherwise, it won't pick you up for the giveaway.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, if you hashtag and you're just a Facebook user, it won't let you in. We got 9 people in right now, and again, this is.
And we'd like to know who you are.
And I think I have that on the website. Oh, by the way, folks, go Chiefs. The NFL football starts tonight. I'm pretty excited about that. I love football. So let's go Chiefs. I'm a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. It's the only sport I watch, and it still makes me kind of excited and young to watch it. So I love football. He's got the big cheese head on. Well, at least you're in the other side of the league. I don't have to worry about the old Packers.
We'll battle it off in the Super Bowl.
You guys don't have a
good friendly rival, but
Yeah,
I like
they're
the Chiefs, so they're not a rival.
So right when this stream's over, I'll probably go watch the Chiefs game and yell at my TV.
The only team and it's not that I hate anybody, but the only team I really battle against is Dallas Cowboys, because I don't know, I've just always been a Dallas enemy, so to speak, on the football side. And funny thing is, my wife is a Dallas fan, so I think I had karma sent my way there. What kind of videos you got for tonight, Mr. Dan?
I was gonna hold. I think I had. There it is. I knew I had it on here. So Romulan is the giveaway coconut oil, and I'll just give a description of what Romulan is. Romulan naturally gets its name from a hostile alien race in Star Trek, so it's actually named after Star Trek. It's a fitting history. Its outer space is a perfect backdrop for this indica strain out of British Columbia. Topping out at 20-24% THC, Romulan is quite potent. It's almost pure indica with a small amount of sativa-dominant white Rhino hybrid, but its full origins are a mystery. It has a sweet, earthy smell and taste with hints of pine and citrus, produces a deeply relaxed body high with a dreamy, floating sensation. Like all indicas, Romulan can be effective at treating anxiety, though it's best for pain. It is also used to treat depression and lack of appetite. Couch lock is common when smoking Romulan, so it's best saved for late nights or rainy days at home. The strain is popular in legal markets in the American West, less so in other regions. It is a top shelf strain, and among users, a favorite among many medical marijuana users. I thought it was a day high, so I told that wrong. It is a night high. I was thinking of another strain that I had, Blueberry Muffin, which is a more sativa stuff. This stuff is like my other strains. I have 3 kind of indica-based sativas. Well, besides Pauhua, which I don't have on there yet. But Pauhua is the day smoke that I smoke during the day. And I need to put that in the oil so people can have some edibles for some day edibles. But that's what this giveaway is. And now we're going to get back into our subject of actually talking about meditation here. And I was going to play my first video here. Yeah, Karina, just go to the website. Everything's $2 off tonight or to the end of the week too. So use the code Infuse420, and I'll add that to the banner at the bottom too.
Infuse 420, or was it
Infused 2, which is Infused $2 off.
There you go.
And then that'll be the discount code. Infused 2 for $2 off. All infusions. And that includes the honey too. So I do have some honey on there.
Hi, Helene.
There we go. Hashtag Great River Canna Oil. And now we're going to get back into our little stop the screen and then present the and really the first video we're going to play tonight is the short video of how does these dang gnats. Dang gnats out of here. What happened here? There we go. This is a short video of how does meditation change the brain. It's got a short video of how sharp attention.
Losing your audio, buddy.
Oh, I am?
Oh, there you go.
Probably for a split second because I was mumbling. We'll play this video now.
Researchers have known for decades that meditation can improve someone's physical and mental health. It can relieve stress, lower blood pressure, and lift someone's mood. But only in the last 10 years have neuroscientists taken a serious look at the changes in brain structure underlying some of meditation's benefits. Like everything else we do, meditation rewires our neural circuits, pruning away the least used connections and strengthening the ones we exercise most. Studies looking for signs of these changes usually focus on mindfulness meditation, which challenges people to keep their attention fixed on their thoughts and sensations in the present moment. Scientists acknowledge that many of these studies are small and not ideally designed, but at this point, researchers have gathered enough evidence to be confident that their findings are not just flukes. Experiments suggest that Buddhist monks have really robust connections between scattered regions of their brains, which allows for more synchronized communication. Expert meditators also seem to develop an especially wrinkly cortex, the brain's outer layer. We depend on the cortex for many of our most sophisticated mental abilities, like abstract thought and introspection. Several studies have confirmed that meditation can increase the volume and density of the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped area of the brain in the middle of the skull that is absolutely crucial for memory. And although areas of the brain responsible for sustaining attention usually shrink as we age, meditation counteracts this decay. An increasing number of studies show that meditating for as little as 12 to 20 minutes a day for several weeks can sharpen the mind. In these studies, meditators have scored higher on tests of attention and working memory, which is the ability to temporarily store and manipulate information in one's mind. Some lifelong meditators in their 50s and 60s can even outperform 20-somethings on tests of visual attention. So if you're interested in trying meditation, you should probably start as soon as possible. For Scientific American's Instant Egghead, I'm Ferris Jaber.
What's interesting is that, you think of all those things that meditation does to your brain, and then you think of everything that psychedelics do to your brain, and then when you combine the two, you're talking an experience that could be even more profound, because you're already talking about something that changes the neurology of the brain.
It's like the person when they first made the very first peanut butter and jelly sandwich. When they put that jelly together and then jammed like that, man, that's perfect mesh.
Right? And that's why there are a lot of famous mycologists. There are a lot of famous scientists. Anybody who is in the study at research now of psychedelics talks about how Eastern medicine needs to be applied to have profound experiences. And when they mean Eastern medicine, they mean meditation. That when pharmaceutical companies enact, whoever gets involved with these magic mushrooms, need to have protocols that enact Eastern medicine, and they've already talked about how do you integrate something like that into something that's never been used, because we've never integrated Eastern medicine into Western medicine. But it's something that is being openly talked about, discussed among scientists, among lawmakers, among people who are going to make these prescriptions, and among the billionaires who are investing money in this, and what's about to be a huge boom. So there's plenty of studies that show when you apply the Eastern medicine effect, how much more powerful the psychedelic experience is. And there's tons of research on it. They've actually just started really the research of what meditation does in a psychedelic experience, but a lot of researchers know it themselves because they've experienced it themselves. They've taken psychedelic and then meditated. That's all right, Crystal. Everybody's got busy lives. Yeah, it's good to have a guide, and it's good to have somebody who understands the psychonaut experience, and or like me, I've had probably 60 major trips in my life, and a lot sometimes were experiments, others were to heal, and I feel like I kind of understand how to navigate that world very well now, to give people advice, how to navigate themselves safely, because it is a very, as we're going to show some more videos, it's one of the experiences that can change your whole life, if it happens at the right time, in the right setting, and with the right music.
I've only had one major trip, and then a small regimen of microdosing, just as recently as an experiment. I've tripped several times, but it was never an intentional one like I did a couple weeks ago. And it was nice, so I look forward to what the future entails with using mushrooms for healing, and getting my mental health where I want it to be, at least close to a manageable, more of a manageable state, which I'm in a good spot, don't get me wrong, but I like to heal a little bit more spiritually, emotionally, and just, get rid of some of my past demons.
Right.
Rear their ugly head once in a while.
That's a good point that you made. That and at some point we will have an episode on what bad trips are. I've done my own kind of research on what a bad trip is, and I don't think there's really anything as a bad trip. I think people just face things that they face in the wrong scenario, situation, doing psychedelics outside of where they should be done. They should not be done at a party. That's where you're really going to have bad trips. They should be done alone. But usually, even if you face something that is really difficult and hard, that bad trip, it's not so much bad. There's just your brain's just telling you, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and that can be really scary for people.
Yeah, it creates an awareness, to let you know, hey, this is something I need to deal with.
Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely have a bad trip if you do it in the wrong place, or if you do it with the wrong person. Doing it with people who have no good intentions or just not good people can lead to a bad trip. So choose wisely who you do it with. And I even have friends that I refuse to do it with because I told them, I'm like, this is a different level of things that happen when you're on these. Some friends I'm kind of don't get along with it. I get along with it. We just butt heads a lot. Like those kind of people probably wouldn't be good to trip.
Sure.
We all have those kind of friends, that you're still friends with, but you may butt heads a lot, and you're both stubborn energies or something like that. Hey, Lisa May, what's going on?
Hi,
meditation is something I had no idea what meditation was until I did my first mushroom experience, and like this book got put in my head. It was like a guide book. Oh. Was that you?
I had an echo, so I hit my echo button. I'm sorry. What did it do to the screen?
It echoed me for a split second.
Oh.
I heard myself repeat myself talk.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But,
so I changed it.
When I did psychedelics the first time, I felt like I put this thing in my head, like, this is meditation. This is how you do it. And before that, I couldn't even silence my brain enough to even get 80, like halfway to meditating. And now that I understand it, and I kind of understand that it's not like sitting there in a yin and yang with your legs crossed. It's more complex, and it happens in many different facets in our life, through music, through mindfulness, like you just being observant of what's in front of you, and then actually thinking there and thinking about what is in front of you. That can be a form of kind of meditation as well, being mindful and meditative. Because a lot of us, if we don't meditate, we put on these blinders. They're our own interpretation of the world, and we sit in silence, and we, find these thoughts and meditate, and we can find clarity, and like the truth reveals itself. And I wrote a status about that earlier today, about how it's funny how the universe reveals the truth when you're in silence. When you actually start hearing the silence, because there is the sound. That's when true healing begins. But you have to be able to sit in your silent thoughts. There are people who are still scared to do that. I have a few friends who said they can't even sit by themselves in their thoughts because their mind just goes crazy. Starts to go too fast.
I feel that it helps, Elisa, to be comfortable in your environment, because you don't want any other outside stressors when you're trying to focus and be mindful on what you're meditating about.
100%. That's why usually your house is the best place. That's where everybody feels the most comfortable, is their own house.
That Rosa Jenny removed her. That same comment like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about mushrooms. There's always psychedelic.
Yeah.
These spammers come in.
We got one.
So meditation can happen before and after. Meditation is more, and when you're doing psychedelic, is more referred to as an intention. And an intention is what you want out of the experience. That can be a meditating force because it's implanting something in your brain that later on will be used when you're in the experience. And I call it intention is a very profound thing when you have an intention, because it forces your brain to deal with something one-on-one, instead of having a wide range of subjects you could encounter when you're on psychedelics. But when I've actually taken intention and I meditated to it before, I just thought about it a couple nights, like a lot of experiences. I was like, who is Dan? What is Dan? What is life? I was referring to myself in third person, but I was trying to find out who I really was. And when I went into that with that intention, I found profound answers about who I was. And when you do that, the truth reveals itself a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And then that's working really slow. I think it's my computer. I was trying to bring up somebody's comment. Is this going slow? Yeah, you can even take a small amount, like even 2-3 microdoses, and you listen to music, and be a very profound meditative state. You're not going to have a full-blown trip, but you're going to go into a state of your mind where you can find your blood pressure can decrease. You can find a lot more relaxing, and actually sit down and enjoy something. That's when I know that I'm in a state of mind that's good, is when I can actually sit down and not worry about other things, because my mind is always on the go. So when I can sit there and focus on one thing, that's when I find the most joy, because it's hard to do.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, Becca. Yeah, Becca, I've tried that. I did 2 sessions of that EMDR with it was actually my boss. I just did it for an experiment to see how it worked, so I could refer people, and it worked great. And I was going to continue on it, but that job, I quit working there. That's right at the end of my before I quit services. But yeah, it's I heard a lot of good things about that EMDR, and meditation is a good part of it. Excuse me.
All right, well, let's play a couple more videos here. I actually was going to play another short video, what magic mushrooms do to your body and brain, just to kind of refresh people and remind them. And I think this is one that kind of had an interesting fact in it they didn't know. So we'll do that, and then we'll talk more about it.
Let's get something to talk about.
I should actually play this as the intro to the show, because it's 1 minute long and it explains everything. One of the most important experiences of their lives. That's what I like to see, people explain it as one of the most profound experiences of their lives. Just laying on a couch, and I can even show you that tonight, how I meditate, like literally sitting on my couch in my front porch. I've had more life-changing moments on that couch.
Hi, Sir Steve-O.
And it's always intriguing to have that thought, to think about, like, damn, I laid here on a couch and had some of the most profound experiences as a human being. And that's just how strong these experiences can be. And I like how she uses the term surgical surgical instrument, because it is. It like that's why when you set up an intention, it's like a surgical tool. It'll go straight after that insecurity or whatever you're asking from it. I've never not asked something of the magic mushroom and it not give it to me. It has always given me what I've realistic. You have to be realistic, of course. It's always given me, everything that I've asked from it, which is weird as well. It's just weird to say that and think that and understand that that's the truth. But these are very profound mushrooms, and that's why when you mix meditation and mushrooms, they're even a greater experience that's above and beyond, just the normal psychedelic. Hey, what's going on, Grassroots? What's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Appreciate the kind words, everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to hit those reaction buttons. And the giveaway tonight again is the Romulan Great River the hashtag is Great River Canna Oil, and I'm giving away a Romulan strain canna oil. And it's another really strong, powerful night indica based oil, so it'd be good to help you sleep.
And guys, just to stretch it out a little bit, and talk about meditation is breathing. Breathing techniques are important too. You don't want to be sitting there out of breath, come in straight out of side, get calm and relaxed a little bit, best you can. And what I always try to do is I do 3 seconds in through my nose and 4 seconds out. And it's called elongated breathing. I mean, you can even go longer than 4 out. As long as the breath out is longer than the breath in. It's called elongated breathing, and there's studies that shows that it reduces your stress levels, and it helps that brain slow down and calm down, and get your cortisol and all that stuff functioning right. So it regulates your stress better, and that helps. It'll also regulate your heart rate, and it'll help you in your meditation and be able to calm down and get to that. Let's call it that Zen place, so you can get to where you need to be.
Usually, how I know I'm at that Zen place because there's a release that happens. Usually, you start crying. That's when you know you're there, and the release happens. And it's funny when you get to that point how you can't get there in a normal state of mind. Like you can sit there all day you want, unless you focus and meditate. You can't get to that place of Zen where that that energy can be released.
Right. It's because our mind's too busy, and that's where that definition of mindfulness, thinking about something on purpose in the present moment without judgment.
Yeah, you did it right, Tasha. That's right. Hey, what's going on, Michelle?
Hi, Michelle.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought. But there's another video here too that talks about the parallels of long-term meditation and psilocybin use. I have not watched it, but this is Dr. Roland Griffiths, who is he's one of the more prestigious scientists who now studies psychedelics at the University of John Hopkins Hospital. He is one of the leading researchers in psychedelics, and he calls psychedelic research one of the most profound research studies he has ever done in his life. And he's been studying molecules and different things for 60 years. So I know him very well because I watch a lot of his videos, but a lot of you may not know him. He is a very famous scientist in the psychedelic community.
Hey, Colin, how you doing, buddy?
So we'll share this video. It's just an interview, sit down, and he talks about how meditation and psilocybin use kind of interact.
So what were you looking at in that study? What was?
Well, the study in long-term meditators is something it's near and dear to my heart because I'm a long-term meditator now.
What define a long-term meditator?
Well, these are people by and large that have a daily meditation practice for very often decades, and have done a number of prolonged silent meditation retreats.
Okay.
Okay, so these are people who spent a lot of time.
Vipassana or something, is that what it's
examining.
called? Something
A
like
lot of it is mindfulness. We have over-representation from Buddhist traditions, and Vipassana would be one of those traditions. And so during that study, people come into our session room. We have them do a series of meditations throughout the day, and when they get psilocybin. So we're very interested in how the phenomenology of those experiences change. We're comparing it to placebo. We're looking at pre and post neuroimaging to see, looking for brain changes, and preliminarily we're seeing day after changes, which is exciting and gets to this whole issue of neuroplasticity. And we're also have a condition in which we actually administer psilocybin to people in the scanner. So we're looking at meditation when people are on, in this case, a pretty low dose
real time. Okay.
of psilocybin. Yeah. So, and our interest there in meditation is that, we think of meditation as kind of the tried and true path for exploration of the nature of mind. I mean, that's really what it is that it's this methodology that's been developed over thousands of years to turn the attention inward and watch one's own mental processes and become familiar with the way mind works, how it's constructed. And then through that process, very often people hesitate to say gain control, but in effect, they can change the repertoire with which the brain is activated. They can watch thoughts come up. They can release thoughts in a way that someone who's unpracticed with meditation is much less likely to be able to do so. So it's an investigation of the nature of mind. And similarly, I've come to think of psilocybin as also a convergent methodology for investigation of the nature of mind. It's the meditation on steroids.
You know how wild that is for a scientist to say that? Like, these guys work on scientific based evidence and for him to say, I'll replay that again. Because
nature of mind. It's the investigation of the nature of mind. It's the convergent methodology for investigation of the nature.
So he once had his own psilocybin experience, and this is written in the book called How to Change Your Mind. It's actually a Netflix series. That may be where you've seen this guy at. He's on that series as well, but he goes more in depth in that book about how he thinks that psilocybin is a tool to figure out the brain, that he thinks this is our moment to truly figure out how our brain works, and that these molecules are going to help us figure that out. And that's why he claims to say that this is the most profound research that he's ever done. He writes that in the book, which is right here. It's in this book, which I have the book, but he does in the Netflix series. They don't really go deep. There's a lot more in the book that they go involved, especially Roland Griffiths and his experimentation with psychedelics in the 80s and 70s. Changed his life, changed what he thought of this substance. So continue to play the video again, but I always find that amazing when a scientist, he finally claims that he thinks, this substance is how we figure out the brain. Like, this is the key. This is how we unlock it.
Mind. It's the meditation on steroids, if you will, because there's such a abrupt shift of the nature of consciousness that it wakes people up to the extent to which kind of their normative cognitive processes, or the normative way they hold reality, is just one way of holding reality. And so there can be something shockingly interesting about that. However, psilocybin is not a substitution for meditation because it doesn't lead to any stability of the awareness state. So we would say that meditation is kind of the tried and true way of stabilizing the nature of awareness and coming to understand mind and psilocybin.
So what he means there is basically when you do take a magic mushroom or any kind of psychedelic, there's a level of awareness that becomes very profound, but it's short-lived. It's anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, and then it does start to go away. And what he means, when you meditate, you can actually keep that kind of that cognitive awareness in your brain around if you do meditate more. That's the only bad thing about magic mushrooms, is that state of awareness does disappear, but it has more profound effects on the brains in different ways. So that's what he's kind of referring to, that, psilocybin is not the way to connect to that state of awareness at all times, that there are better ways, like meditating.
Might be the crash course in that.
Oh, that was the end of the video anyway. But I love hearing him talk. I listened to the audiobook. No, he's not in the audiobook, but I've watched so many documentaries of him and I always find his opinion in what he states. He's very respected man in the magic mushroom world. That's awesome. So if you check out him, his name's Roland Griffiths, Dr. Roland Griffiths. He's been a researcher at Johns Hopkins University. He's Center of Psychology. So he's done a lot of different experiments with psychology over the decades there.
Nice.
But I always got excited because when they actually started doing psychedelic research, he was the first one they interviewed. Like the Today Show, CBS News, they all interviewed him, and he was shocked by what this stuff does. He was like, I was not expecting this, to come into this research and find all these profound results. And he said it made him so excited for the future of psychology. He's truly excited about it.
And there's so much more to learn, and that's just the beginning. I can just imagine where it's going to go to in the future.
Oh, it's awesome to hear. Laughed all night. Sometimes you just need to do that, and just sit there and laugh by yourself.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that, Ted. I like hearing people, getting positive and good results out of it. And
absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Because we all get tired of life, and we all need that reset. We need to reset the bullshit out.
Amen.
And I used to do it a lot more. I used to do, when I first started doing mushrooms, I was doing 4 to 5 grams every weekend. But I was more or less chasing darkness. I was chasing healing. I was doing a lot of the chakra music I was talking about, which I used to chase darkness.
Yeah, that's, at first, that's probably what I'll do is, when I get enough where I can do a good month worth of, of healing and searching and stuff like that, with microdoses in between, I'll get some guidance too. I'll talk to you more about whenever the time comes, but.
Yeah, I was very aware of how much I was using. I was going to finish the story. I guess I need to. And I knew at one point I would do it less and less. Now I do it like big doses like that every 2 months now, not every weekend. But when I was actually doing it, I was chasing information that was in my brain, and I wasn't addicted to the experience. I was addicted to kind of chasing and finding answers about my own life. And I did that for about 3 or 4 months, and I found that's when I did a lot of experimenting, and I was just seeing what the profound effects of what it does. And I learned so much in that 4 months. I learned about myself, and then I learned about this profound molecule that just goes into your brain and has profound effects.
Nice.
But yeah, too much of everything can be that, but you have to be aware of where that level stands. Now, if you lose that level of awareness where you're using a substance and you're not aware of how much you're using it, then they can become dangerous. So I always kept that level of awareness. So I'm like, I know I'm using it a little too much, but I'll back down eventually once I find these answers, I'm looking for. And I eventually did. So definitely, hell yeah. Even water.
Even water.
What was that other? So this is a 7.5 minute video. It's Big Thinker. It's got a lot of views, but it actually tells you music's power over the brain explained. I'm actually interested in what it says. I think it's probably packed with some useful stuff. So we'll play this, and then I'm going to talk more about how I'll show you actually part of my house where I actually meditate. I'm trying to think of the word.
4.4 million years.
But we'll play this, and hopefully it's packed with some useful knowledge. We can all learn about how music, when you listen to music, you are meditating. A lot of people do not understand that. When you do connect to that music, it goes into your brain, goes into your cortex of all the portions of your brain, and it has profound effects. So let's learn something here, learn a little information.
Years ago, an Australopithecine called Ardi stood on her legs and walked. And ever since then, the rhythm of walking has stamped human music. But much more than that, pun intended, that the first steps put us on the path to forging links between the brain and muscular exertion and sound. Hominins learned to hear footsteps as a pattern, and what patterns give you is a sense of time. You can predict what will happen next. It's willy-nilly reflecting the experience of walking through the earth. The condition of being human, being midway between the birds in the heavens and the whales in the ocean, we can situate ourselves. Birdsong is as jerky as the motions of a bird, just as whales have a much more fluid rhythm of floating through their own medium. Human music reflects walking. And this also gives humans a fascination with this metaphor that music moves. And if you think about it, music does not move, but we imagine that one note moves to the other. And most of music, be it a symphony or a song, unfolds a journey. And this journey takes us from one point to another in our minds. It's an imaginary journey, a very long distant echo from the journey of our ancestors out of Africa. What makes human music so distinctive is our link between sound and motion, which is due to the connections in the human brain between the motor regions controlling our motion and the regions controlling hearing and sound, the auditory cortex. As a rule, the deeper you dive into the human brain, the more universal one's propensity for music and for emotion goes. If you start with the brainstem, our oldest layer, brainstems flinch to reflexes in sound, so shocks and loud bangs will trigger the brainstem reflex. The next layer up, the basal ganglia, responds to pleasure, whether a sound is pleasant or unpleasant. The amygdala is where emotions happen, sadness, happiness, anger, fear. And the most modern layer, the neocortex, is the point where you process patterns and the complexities of music. In terms of our music instinct, one of our faculties, which are inborn, is what has been called auditory scene analysis, or the cocktail party effect. If you go to a party and you're surrounded by people jabbering away in different simultaneous conversations, you have an astonishing capacity to tune in to a particular thread. It's the same faculty you have when you're listening to a line in a Bach fugue or in a jazz standard. We can focus our listening. Birds also have that. Infant and a father emperor penguin surrounded by 40,000 breeding pairs can hear each other's voice in this incredible hubbub.
That is true. That is always amazing to me.
Appreciating music purely as a form of relaxation or entertainment does a massive disservice to all the things that music helps you with. The biggest draw to mental health is loneliness. Music can bring people together. You don't have to actively make music with somebody else. Just to listen to music plugs you into a social network, because every note of music is social. is formed of social conventions. Music lowers stress by reducing cortisol. It gives you pleasure, makes you happy by flooding the brain with neurotransmitters like dopamine. Music is an excellent way of tagging memories, remembering the past.
Nostalgia.
Expressing your deepest emotions and your identity, which can't be captured by language, because music is far too precise for words. All these things increase your mental health, and ultimately, music becomes a mode of mindfulness, of contemplation. It's not purely relaxing because there's too much going on when you're listening. And the word relaxation gives a sense of passivity, whereas to listen is a very active and creative activity.
And today, even the youngest children learn to tootle an instrument.
My parents hated that.
I know.
We also love to imitate rhythm, and
It's
that's
still in
due to
here.
the existence of
How's this
mirror
still in here?
neurons
Blocked
in
them.
our brains. When the brain sees
So
an
did I.
action, you don't have to move to experience that motion in your brain because the mirror neurons are responding sympathetically. We've always had an instinctive faculty to imitate. We call it mimesis. Yawns are contagious. If I see you yawning, I yawn back. But also emotions are contagious. When I hear a sad song, my body, my mirror neurons are instinctively sympathizing, are mimicking, are mirroring. The sadness of the song isn't just acoustic. It's also encoding the behavior which we associate with sadness, which is grieving. Emotion isn't just feeling. Darwin was the first to observe that emotion had an adaptive role in the field. That animals and people, they experience emotions in relation to goals, which help them survive. So happiness is when you achieve a goal, anger is when the goal is blocked, sadness is when you lose a loved one, fear is the most archetypal emotion. When you're exposed to a threat, you have an instinctive response to either freeze or to fight or to flee. Music is full of similar responses. There's an extreme reaction to music which has been called the chills or frisson or the sublime. There are moments in music which are so intense, and they're often triggered by breakthrough moments of loudness or extremity. You have the same parts of the brain which respond to that as response to fear, which is why the chills give you goosebumps or piloerection. The hairs on your skin literally stand on end. But you enjoy this fear, and this is very strange. I mean, I have a similar experience when we go on a fairground ride or when we're watching a volcanic eruption from the safety of an observation platform. It's almost as if music is violence without the danger. Nobody dies in music. It is why we think that music is able to express emotion in a very visceral way. So when you're listening to music, it's a kind of mental time travel. When you're absorbed in a work, you're traveling back through layer upon layer of your brain, almost biologically, which is why I call music a sort of umbilical cord back to Mother Nature.
Wow.
Get smarter, faster with videos from the world's big.
That video was packed with information. Holy shit. I did not know a lot of that, and that just shows you how, if music has that profound of effect, imagine listening to music while you're on, a psychedelic and it having an even more powerful effect.
Absolutely. Music, we used to do an emotional management group in our counseling group. It was in our I can't think of the word, but anyway, the group, what we would do is play a song, and then you would tell, how did that song make you feel? Where did you feel it in your body? And how do you feel about sharing? And you couldn't use little words like fine, okay, good. You had to use descriptive words, adjectives, and stuff like that, how it made you feel. And it really got to let us know, and meditation can do this too. When you're listening to music, you can pay attention to your body. You can feel them spots in your body. Like the biggest one for me is that knot in my stomach. If I've got a knot in my stomach, I'm tense. I'm not, feeling right. not feeling comfortable with something, especially if I'm doing an act or something of some sort. But that group had made us identify on our body, had them different feelings of how I felt when I was doing things. And it also, I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry. I hate when I do that. I do it a lot.
You need to meditate more.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the side effects of meditation is a clear mind. You have less foggy moments. And that video actually said that your brain ages slower when you meditate through life, which I found was an interesting fact. And that one guy was talking about psychedelic therapy, how they're actually putting people in MRIs and people who are under meditation and looking at their brains while it's happening, live.
Nice. I volunteer.
I'd love to too. It'd be interesting to see what my brain was 3 years ago and what it looks like now compared to all these experiences that mushrooms that I've had and facing demons. And there's definitely a lot more awareness in my brain now, and I feel like I'm in a better place. I feel I'm more intelligent. And I feel like I understand life better now. So no matter what it would look like under an MRI, I feel like it's helped me tremendously.
Right.
Because there's life before my first trip and there's life after, and they're two different lives.
Well, I'm excited because, the 10 years of just recovery I've learned through treatment and AA and just different tools and tricks that I've learned along the way, coping skills are great. And it's got me, had me in a great place, minus the last couple years. But I'm ready to go to that other place, or that place again with the help of mushrooms too, and it's going to, I'm excited, I just can't wait for it to therapy to start happening. And I'm learning all these different tools, which is great. I'm learning from you different things that's going to help me along with that journey once I get to that point. So, so I'm not going into it blind. And then, because, left to my own devices, my own thinking, I tried experimenting with before, it just didn't work out. So now with somebody that's done it the true way, and kind of mimicking that practice, I'm excited. Hi, Vicky.
So yeah, I was going to take a nice little cold start dab, and then I was actually going to talk about that music that we were playing before that nobody heard, but before we did our podcast, I was showing him the music that I listened to, and I literally listened to it for 5 minutes, and it was having such a profound effect on my brain. I had to shut it off. I basically, the way I do it is I use chakra music, and in the first 2 hours of my psychedelic experience is where I what I refer to as chasing darkness, or doing the therapy part. It's the most difficult part of the whole trip. It fucking sucks. But I usually, this is when I play chakra music, and the way chakra music works is it can be it can be abrasive to some people. Some people find it's hard to listen to, and that's what it's doing. There were many times where I didn't want to listen to it. But what I found out is when I forced myself to listen to the chakra music, which we'll show tonight, it forced me to find healing. Why did this make me uncomfortable? And it brings that forward so that you can then deal with it. There are 7 different chakras, and there are 7 different what they call chakra ranges. These are all different frequencies that they say connect with different portions of the brain that have these emotional. They're like emotional ports. So each part of the brain, kind of deals with different things. And the chakra music is the way to effectively connect to it. And I've done a lot of experience with this to know that this is way more than just a placebo effect. That this chakra music has very profound effects on the brain neurology, on the brain neurons, because I've actually felt it happening while I was experiencing it. Very, very, very self-aware when I'm in these experiences of what's going on in my brain. And I felt very profound moments where, you know, I've been listening to the chakra music and it's pushing me towards very dark, you know, darkness, as I refer to the stuff that's not very easy to deal with, what a lot of people, you know, run away from in a trip, I would approach. And the chakra music helps me, you know, approach those things that are very hard to approach. First 1 to 2 hours of the trip, I used to do the chakra music, and then I used to turn it off. I'll play music, more setting music, words, not listening to death metal or anything like that. It's more like harmonies, or not harmonies, but instruments and soft voices. And then I go outside and I really enjoy the moment more after I do the chakra therapy, because it's tiring. Like that 2 hours of laying on the couch, listening to this music, and then letting it do what it does to your brain is very tiring. And so most of the time I'd sit there for 4 hours, 6 hours, and really enjoy, you know, how I would feel after this. Tom wasn't it? I was just telling him how. Well, what was I telling? How the.
It's contagious, isn't it?
Yeah, I was starting thinking of the next thing I was going to say, and then I forgot what I was saying. I did take my lion's mane today, but I also meditated in the shower earlier, and I actually, we're like 8 days away from 11 years ago. My friend got killed in a 4-wheeler accident. And I felt it in the shower. Like I took a microdose earlier today, and I was meditating to some music. And I like felt a release in the shower, and I didn't understand why, but that release came with a memory. It came, you know, with the event that's about to, you know, happen next week, and it was really weird. I had to sit in the other room and cry for 5 minutes.
I understand, you know.
And that's what meditation does. That's what magic mushrooms do. They make you release stuff that needs to be released. And I didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere. I'm like, why the hell am I crying? And then but with those tears become thoughts, and the thoughts are, you know, why you're crying. And I had memories.
Yeah, it takes you to places sometimes you don't want to, might not want to go, but you know, it's a place you probably need to go, or I would need to go, whatever, you know. I know it's sometimes, you know, I talk about embracing the suck. You know, like Dan said, sometimes that first part it fucking sucks, you know, but it's, you know, you embrace it and you get through it. It's so healing when you come through the other side. It was
the combination of the song I was listening to. I was in the shower too. I was listening to a song that I usually trip to, and what it does, it sends me down this hole where vulnerability is just, it becomes present, and then it doesn't matter whether you're going to cry or not. It just comes out. Like that's where the release happens.
Yeah.
But you can't, once it happens, you can't control it. You're like, well, I'm going to start crying no matter, you know, what I want. And especially when you're psychedelics, it's like, no, you're going to cry now. And it just,
yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it lasts for 5 minutes. Like you'll cry like a faucet for 5 minutes, then your brain's like shuts it off, and you're like, well, that was all that you had to release, you know. It's almost like a faucet sometimes. The brain is really weird. It's just really weird how tears come and how we deal with all that emotion, and it's such a complex system and all that. So
I think there might be more strains, maybe, Karina, but I think mushrooms have pretty much been the same since they've been around. Some people might be able to make different strains and stuff, I'm sure of that, but
yeah.
I don't know. More variety, I guess.
Right. Yeah, there's 110, I think, psychedelic mushrooms. Some of them are stronger than others, and they all do kind of different things, but that's what Google is good for. So you can research the strain, and you can find a lot of information on Reddit. Believe it or not, people go into Reddit and post comments on certain things, and you can find a lot of useful information if you search inside of Reddit. That's where I actually learned a lot of my psychedelic research. I'd go deep into Reddit chats and read people's own opinions on a subject about something that you just can't find a lot of information about.
Right.
But now we have mushrooms are legal now, so there are discussed more on Google. You can find, anything about it, any strain. Oh, sorry. Water absorbs the negative emotion and takes it away.
Excuse me. Oh, no problem.
Almost cleared the whole bowl with no cough. That's what this no cough device does. Oh. Doubt you knew mushrooms. Yeah, mushrooms nowadays are probably a lot more potent as well. We kind of understood in the 90s how to grow them commercially. That's when we really found out. And now you don't have to use manure to grow them.
I like that.
Even though they grow better in manure, you don't have to use it anymore. Yeah, when you do a psychedelic and then take a shower, it's a strange experience. I've had very strange experiences in the shower. I've even had something similar to a release, like something washed out of your skin with the shower, and it really felt like it was something physically, Yeah, as an empath, I feel the same way. There are times though when I'm in a mood where I definitely don't. It's harder to connect to those emotions, but 99% of the time I'm usually there. Manure grows everything. For sure. Just throw it in your garden and see what grows. But I guess we'll go out here and I'll actually go to a more place where I can play meditative music. But let me get this. I think we're all. I'll get the hashtag back up. But here I just want to show you how I kind of meditate in my house when I do mushrooms. And I actually have a spiritual table here. I don't know if you can see it, but I have all my chakra stones on it. And I have some gifts some people gave me, some gifts some mediums gave me. And I have my chakra cheat sheet. Nice. So I have a lot of stuff here, all these stones. And I also have senses and candles and as well as books. So sometimes I'll go through these books while I'm on mushrooms, and I have all these pretty crystals, and this thing's pretty awesome too.
Oh, that's cool.
But also underneath here, I keep all tea candles. So I have 4-hour tea candles and 6-hour tea candles, and I like using tea candles because they go out after a certain amount of time. That way, if you do fall asleep, they go out. And plus, sometimes it's hard to tell what time is or what time means when you're on mushrooms.
Yeah.
So if you use a 4-hour candle and it goes out, okay, 4 hours went by, or use a 6-hour candle. So I have a bunch of candles under here, that I use because I usually lighting a lot of candles when I do psychedelic trips.
I didn't know the tea candles come in different hours.
You can get them in 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2-hour increments, up to 12, I think.
Nice.
And then I have a picture. This is my friend who actually passed away 11 years ago, so I was talking about. And then I actually have the porch portion this is where I usually actually trip at. And I have a light here that's in my window that I can change into 27 different colors. And that's a whole different subject, but the light or colors enact different moods as well. So sometimes I turn it red if I'm dealing with emotional stuff that has to deal with love and forgiveness. I'll turn it purple. I can't remember what purple is. But every kind of emotion has a color. So I turn the color on there, and then I can, whatever emotion I'm dealing with in that trip, I can put that color on. And then I have other lights out here that kind of set a mood. And then I have this beautiful porch view that I can, then I have a place outside. We can't see it, but there's a table and chair right outside this window. I can sit and relax there.
Nice.
And then my steps here, I'll usually just sit on my steps for hours. Sometimes I'll sit there for 3 hours and just, look across the street. I live across the street from a nursing home, and it's pretty quiet around here. Really, we live in a really quiet neighborhood, but it's in the ghetto, of course. The nursing home makes it really quiet because there's security around the place, and they have cameras, so the people that make all the noise kind of stay away from this area. So it's really an interesting light over there too. And I've had this parking lot across the street is very unique to do mushrooms at, because it brings about animals. So I'll try to explain it because I'm at the borderline of where my service is, but there's these flags here, and there's a light beam like you see at a casino. This light beam is in the ground underneath it, shoots up like hundreds of feet into the air. Like you can see the beam of light go hundreds of feet into the air. But last summer there were animals that would come in the middle of the night, and they were flying through the light stream. I still don't know what they were because I was on a psychedelic, and they were flying so high. But I think they were owls. I think there were multiple owls, and I think they were playing with each other. I've never seen owls socialize with each other, obviously, because it's dark. But this light over there, the fact that it projects all the way up in the air, lets you see things that happen at night that you normally can't see. So it was one of the more beautiful experiences when I sat here one night for 2 hours. These huge birds, they were hundreds of feet in the air, just came in and out of the light. They knew that light was there. They understood it was, and they were just playing with each other, socializing in the middle of the night. That's beautiful though, and I've always looked for them again. I've never seen them, so I don't know if they were migratory birds or what. But for like 30 days, every night in the middle of the night, they would fly in and out of that light beam. And it was just so the light over there is really unique because you don't see those much. Usually you see them at casinos. They'll have those lights buried in the ground because they project hundreds of feet in the air, and you can see them,
Yeah.
So it's a really unique light for the fact that I can trip and then look at it and have that experience with, other animals with it.
Oh, shit.
I always thought it was weird because I'm like, these animals know that light beam's there, and they were playing with the light and each other. So I just found it really interesting and unique that I got to witness that. Because I never would have without it. Who the hell sees the animals playing at 3 a.m? Because you don't usually have the light in the sky to see it happen. I'm
trying to think that owls is the only thing I can think of nocturnal that would fly around playing or something.
Yeah, there couldn't have been bats because they were too high in the air to be bats. Like bats don't fly that high. But yeah, I don't know other than they were owls maybe. But it was so beautiful watching owls socialize with each other too, because they were playing with each other.
I think it's Stacy, but she said cranes maybe. I don't know.
No, I've never seen cranes fly that either too, because they're so big animals that they struggle to fly that high.
That's kind of what I thought.
Plus, they were pretty fast. Cranes are kind of big and larky animals. This may be a mystery, but it was a beautiful experience that I'll remember the rest of my life.
Right on. That's cool.
So yeah, I always think about when I move out of this house how profound this porch will be. I mean, I'll drive by it and be like, "Damn, that's the porch." That changed my life. And
right.
So that'll be the hardest thing to ever sell this house is what happened on this porch. Other than that, I could move on from. But I always found that thought to one day eventually move out of this house to struggle to deal with, because I'm like, man, this porch is special to me. And I hate when I can't go in there in the winter, so it gets cold out here, so I can't really go out in the winter on here. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff on the walls you can't see. There's These are flags over here. You can see. So there's a lot of shamanism and Hinduism artifacts out here as well on the porch, and
Making
some
a
other-
positive area for a positive experience. I get it.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's when I first started doing mushrooms, I started to become a lot more aware too of how you should sleep in your own house. So I guess I can show that too, because then I understood that you should remove all the bullshit, all the clutter out of the room you sleep in, because that's the room, you know, that the first room you wake up to in the morning. And I took all the bullshit out of my room. Like, I used to have my office stuff in here, and then I took it out, and I wanted to make it more of a room that I can meditate in. So I have like the sliding in here that goes around my whole room. I added the moon pictures, and I have more moon pictures that I haven't bought and put into it, and I have some pictures of space. So I like wanted to wake up and be captivated by space and the moon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't realize how much that influences you when you wake up, and you may have a whole bunch of clutter or bullshit in your room. How much that can influence your mental health the rest of the day. Like, clear all the bullshit out of your bedroom and just make it about sleeping and waking up to, you know, the positive vibes or whatever it is. Space captivates me, so I love waking up and seeing those images of the moon and stuff. And I got a picture over here of the Chicago skylight, the city lights, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, once I took all my office shit out of here, because I had my office stuff in here. Like, that's not the way I wanted to wake up. Like, you wake up and then you see your office stuff and all you think about is business. You know, I didn't want to wake up like that anymore.
That's why I cleaned my office out, because, you know, going in there and seeing that cluster all the time, I didn't even want to go in there. And when I did, it was just depressing.
So
I
plus,
still have work to do on it, but it's a lot better.
I got a big king size bed, and I'm a single guy, so the bed takes up a majority of the room.
Right. Well, you can sleep
And all I
comfortably.
have- Just the TV, which I barely ever watch in here, and my dresser and the bed. That's really the only thing in here now. So it's all about waking up to a meditative state and not wake up to all bullshit that you could be cluttered, or because I work in people's houses and I've seen some people's bedrooms, and I'm like, how do you sleep in here? You know, I'd have anxiety trying to go to sleep. All the clutter that's everywhere. Well, surprised I don't have glow in the dark. I like the lighting like that. I have a lot of different lighting in my house, but I like that control in there too. I can change the intensity of the light too.
Nice.
But yeah, people don't realize how much that can have an effect on their mental health if you don't clear the clutter out of your bedroom. Make another bedroom clutter, the one that you don't wake up in. Then you can choose to go in there, but you can't choose where you wake up normally, you know. Usually you wake up in the same bed every day, and just try to make it a clear zone place about finding Zen and meditating. And
That's where a lot of my anxiety comes from. When it comes to space, our house is a clusterfuck, and since my dad died, I still got a lot of his stuff piled up. Not only that, stuff from my last job, all my didactical books, my group books, my counseling stuff, and all that. I just haven't gone through it yet, which I'm in the process. I'm in my office still there. I'm about done with that. I just got some more, then I'll move over to that room and start just doing a big house cleaning. You know, getting rid of a bunch of that stuff. I'll probably donate some of it. The books I'll probably keep because they got good information in them. But a lot of the group plans and stuff like that, I can give those away or throw them away.
your good porch changes a lot. I figured that out as I got older too. You're like, you don't have that mentality in your 20s, but when you get into your 40s, you're like, yeah, that house has a badass porch. You don't really look at that thing when you're younger. Like most people in their first house is like a little small porch you can fit one chair on. Then you get in your 40s, you buy a house, you're like, you got a wraparound porch on it, 2 porches upstairs. You know, it changes. flamingos. I wouldn't have thought I would have known if it was a flamingo because they didn't have long legs, so that's why I don't think it was a crane or a flamingo.
Might have been a couple hawks. They've been known to get playful.
Yeah, but I didn't know they hunted in the middle of the night. But I also didn't know hummingbirds did either. And I've seen a hummingbird on a psychedelic experience outside, and I honestly thought I was imagining things. And then I saw it again one night when I was not on mushrooms, and I looked it up, and it says there are certain hummingbirds that do hunt in the middle of the night.
I've seen them out at my feeders before.
That was awesome. I was shocked because I didn't expect all of a sudden a hummingbird to be, flying by me while I'm sitting there at 3 a.m.
I didn't know they hunted at night. I just thought, woke up like I do once in a while, thirsty, take a drink. We got a couple hummingbird bird nests or bird feeder bird houses out there too.
Yeah, I don't know how they see. Most birds don't hunt at night, obviously, because they can't see. So they must have really good vision.
I know their hearing is really impeccable. That might be the way they do it that way.
Well, yeah, that's how I meditate in my house.
The way I bet right now, I don't have a spot. I sit in my bed, and I'll have everything off, and I'll just sit there and just kind of put on my phone. I'll put on a YouTube thing and just meditate right there. I'll sit in India. I don't lay down because I'll fall asleep, but I'll put the pillows up behind me and get comfortable and just lay my hands on my back or on my lap, not my back, and just lean back and meditate for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, those 3 steps on my front of my house, that's my favorite spot to meditate. I'll get set there at midnight, 8 at night, 8 in the morning, 3 in the morning, at any time during the day. I'll go out there and find a little bit of clarity.
Right.
I love sitting out there with friends too and just talking to them. That's where I sit there and talk with a friend,
I like a good meditating around a good campfire. Just sitting there and staring at the fire. That's always a nice relaxing thing for me.
So yeah, that's another very good meditative. That's probably why a lot of the ancients did that,
Yeah.
The ancient tribes sat around fire, did dancing, and they knew all the stuff that it took to be happy.
Yeah. It's a very common ceremonial piece. Fire.
Himalayan salt baths. I do have one of those right behind me. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. This giant stone. It's a big piece of rock.
Like a rock. Oh, like a rock.
And then this is a geode that was given to me. So when I first started tripping, I told you that I had. So the friend that passed away, and 11 years ago, when I first did psychedelics, I honestly thought that the experience was going to be like about her. So I was contacting my friend, asking her questions about something. And then she told me, she said, "Do you know I do psychedelic guided trips?" She basically says she helps people guide them through psychedelics. And she's been my friend ever since for about 10 years now. So she was already a friend of mine. And she gave me this, and this is a geode that apparently she buried and then blessed by burying it. Like I think she buried it for a month, and then gifted it to me before I did my first psychedelic experience.
Nice.
And she's been truly helpful. She's the one who understands more than anybody else, what the hell I've been through, and she knows how much I've changed. And I don't talk to her much because she has 2 kids, but every time I do, I feel. Oh,
I had the wrong.
Every time I talk to her, I feel that vibe that she's, like a proud mother figure to me, because she's guided me through how to turn the psychedelics into experience, how to translate the messages that your brain gives you through mystical experiences or these weird things that happen. because they don't just happen randomly. Like what these things that happen on trips, there's reason behind them. There's a purpose. They're not random at all. Many people think they are, but that's why it's important to have a medium friend like her to interpret that. And you have to interpret Eastern medicine to understand what psychedelics really are, because the brain is like a dream, and it interprets things and then it tells it in a dream-like state, and you kind of have to interpret that dream to understand the message.
I need to find someone in my area like that.
Yeah, it was really dumb luck of the universe. I literally had no idea she did it at all. Like she said psychedelic guided therapy, and I'm like, huh? You do? I had no idea she did it. She kept it a very good secret from even me. And she did for a while now. She more openly talks about it, but she's still kind of resistant for me to tell who she is or expose them.
Yeah,
that's up to her to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because people do look at her strange. There are people who definitely judge her when she says she's a Reiki and psychedelic medium, or I guess somebody who can guide you through it. Because
yeah, and it's not something I'd want to find in a phone book or a book directory or some sort. I'd want it to be a chance like that, and if it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll happen.
Yeah, she's told me a lot of profound things about myself too that I didn't know. Like I always told her I was never 100% believer in what she did or practiced, but I was open-minded to the world and what we don't understand, So that's why I do have crystals. I don't 100% believe them, but I find they're beautiful. They're spiritual, moving. They're mystical. They kind of enact all the things that are I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but the mystical and spiritual part of the world. And I definitely keep an open mind about it. And I definitely know that there are a lot of things that we do not understand in this universe, and we'll probably not understand in my lifetime.
There's a lot of things we don't understand on the earth.
Yeah. That's what's awesome to still living. If we figured out everything, what the fuck, what are we living for? The fact that everything's so mysterious is kind of the intriguing thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what to expect after we die. I don't know if magic mushrooms are somehow the key to explaining how we die. Like there's a lot of questions in that my brain opened up when I started using psychedelics to answer those questions. And a psychedelic medium kind of helps you do that.
Yeah, that's a good guidance. For sure.
There are, for instance, there's if you ever see an octopus in a trip, hold on, it means something about a past love. And I've only seen an octopus once, and it was when I did the psychedelics with an ex-girlfriend. And they say if you do a psychedelic with somebody and you see an octopus, that means that there is true love between you and the other person. And then the color octopus kind of tells you what that love is, like it's friendly love or something deeper. And then if you see an octopus in the sky in your trip, that means that you are not over a past love. And then whatever color that simulates can also mean how deeply you're not over that love. But there's like a lot of interpretations like that happen in the trip with different things and animals. But octopuses are very interesting because I only saw one once, and you would think that you would see it more often, but it's a very profound message when you see an octopus. And if there's somebody else in the room, that means that there's probably a more profound connection between you and that person.
They're really majestic animals. I mean, just the way they are. I mean, not like magic, but I mean, majestic the way they live, the way they're but it's really smart.
But how the old interpretations of animals and how they interpret into our brain are usually very accurate. And I always find that so weird about how they're like, how if you see an octopus, that means you're not over love, and how accurate that can actually be. And I always find that intriguing why the brain would tell it in that story. Does that where we, why does it do that with the octopus?
That's weird.
And when I actually saw the octopus, it was in her bedroom at her house, and she had cords that were kind of in the wrapping around the room. Those cords became tentacles, and then the whole room was just octopus tentacles, you know. And I'm sitting there in real time explaining it to her, and I think she kind of saw the same thing happening at the same time. And again, we were using chakra music. We were playing chakra music therapy and just chilling in the room, and all this stuff happened. Very bizarre stuff. But I always welcome the tentacles. If I ever see snakes, that's when I'm like, I need to ground myself. But I don't, when I start seeing things become tentacles, I usually welcome it because I knew it's more of a message. Snakes are based on anxiety. Every time I see snakes, it usually means that I have a little bit too much anxiety. When the cords start becoming snakes. And
that'd be cool to have a guide of like a book guide. You know, you could look at all those things. Is there a place that you found out those interpretations and stuff?
For probably is somewhere. I read a lot of well, I do have a lot in my bookstore. Let me see. I think there was an audio book. Gotta go to Audible.
My first trip was it wasn't on shrooms though, guys. It was on LSD, and I seen a headless skateboarder coming up the street at me. It was a ghost image. I looked at my buddies, and they thought I was nuts. You know, they said, "No, you're just fright bald." You know what's there? As it got closer, it just dissipated. It didn't go through me. It just as it got closer, it was just gone. It's weird.
Really, the best approach to use is shamanic books, because those are what all they're based on. They're all shamanic teachings, but I don't know if they have any shamanic books like that. Like I have a book that's all about, it's called Spirit Hacking, and then there's another one written by a woman with a PhD. It's called Energy Anatomy, and it's the science of personal power, spirituality, and health.
Huh.
That was a New York Times bestseller, but it was written a long time ago. Written by a woman who has a PhD, who believes that chakras are real. So she kind of talks about how to use those things inside of us to empower yourself. I also got Spirit Hacking, which is written by a shaman. Apparently, I did not download it yet, but I bought it. I also read another book called Divine Feminine Energy. That was really weird because I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but when I first started tripping, this profound, what I would refer to profound feminine energy would come inside of me, and it presented itself as a woman in a hood. I have not seen her for a long time, but when I first started doing trips, there was a woman in these dreamlike states who was wearing a hood. I could not see her face because it was shadowed by the hood, and she would just stand in the corner and not say anything. She would not interact with me. She'd just sit in the corner and look. And I asked my medium, you know, what the hell is this thing? And she thought it was my feminine energy. So all this weird feminine energy knowledge came into my head when I started experiencing these. And my interpretation of what she said is I made this feminine energy in my head to make up for a lack of a mother that I had as a child. And it's really weird that I didn't know that this woman in the hooded woman existed in my head, you know?
Right.
But I really haven't seen her since I've found true healing. She kind of disappeared. I have not seen her for probably 18 months. I don't know if I ever will again. But the last time I really saw her was when I killed my ego. The encounter where I went into this trip and I encountered myself in this house. It was me looking at me, and I started yelling at the other person, and I was actually yelling out loud. I was laying on my couch in the front porch, yelling out loud, and I eventually ended up choking this other thing in this dreamlike state, while the feminine energy was right beside me, just watching. It was really bizarre.
Oh, I bet.
And I woke up from that dreamlike state, and like these shock waves, like I could feel the ripple go through my brain, through my body. And I was like, holy fuck. I was like, this is a pretty profound moment. I was 100% aware, like, this is a very, profound moment in all this therapy.
Yeah.
And nothing was ever really the same after that. And they say that's when you kill your ego. It happens at one point where you will encounter yourself and then you have to kill yourself. Although I didn't mean to. It was I guess anger.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't know I had the choice. It's like it just happens. Like this, the way this all plays out in your head in these dream states that seem so vivid and so real. And
there's reasons for it. We go through them experiences, whatever that spiritual moment meant. It was meant to happen, in my opinion. That's everything I go through. There's a saying in one of our books that says absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. You can throw the God word out of there, but I believe things happen for a reason.
Sure.
I hope it helped your healing process. I know
on Wayne.
Still a struggle, probably. Hi, Wayne.
Yeah, it was it's mean when you think you fell off a cliff. I'm not sure. I've never fallen off a cliff, but I've had plenty of encounters that felt like it.
Yeah.
I guess I refer to it more as like I felt like I was floating around in the vast darkness of the universe. Now that's a better description of how it felt than falling off a cliff. Now I've heard people say that they feel like they're floating out alone in the darkness of space sometimes, and I felt that the first time I tripped, and I think that was a better explanation that I was lonely inside.
Yeah, it's like you're in between worlds or something. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain.
But I think my essence of me, why I felt like I was floating in space alone, was the fact that that loneliness was the reason that I became the way I was. And I didn't realize that at the moment until later, that I think maybe that's why my first trip was that way. It was trying to, tell me something.
Yeah.
I do remember the first trip. I felt like I was floating through space alone, but not really alone. I didn't feel alone. Felt like there was something there with me. Nature, I guess, the universe, everything, Because even if you're floating through space, you are made up of everything in that area of space. You are it, and it is you.
Jared, one thing I would do, maybe research interpretation of different dreams, because that's also a dream that a lot of people have. There's an interpretation for that, and it could be, because when you're in that state of mind, it is kind of like a dreamland. So maybe research that and see if it has something to do with it.
Yeah, I felt somebody touch me before on trips too.
Yeah, kind of bring it back to reality. Like, whoa, where the fuck was I?
There's also audio hallucinations with the strain I use. So I've actually heard my medium's voice out loud one time. I heard her say my name, and I knew I heard it. Freaked me out because I was like meditating, and all of a sudden I heard my name. Somebody yell my name in the room. But there are some strains that do cause audio hallucinations. Instead of visual hallucinations, you get audio hallucinations. So always be aware of that. Sometimes you will hear things that aren't really there. Or was that really there? I don't know. My medium friend is I don't know. She's done things in my life that I can't explain.
Right.
But as we talked about it, I don't talk to her as much because she has kids, but it brought us too close. We're like, I feel like she's a sister, and I don't even have to talk to her all the time to understand what's going on in her life. Like, we have this connection now that that I've never had with any other friend.
That's awesome.
She calls it, we're both connected to some void. She says that she tells me that I'm a reincarnated shaman. but which I told you I don't ever try to get into it because I don't want to get like a big ego like some people say when that happens. But I always found it intriguing. She said that she multiple times saw my past life in these readings, and how my life is turned into an herbal and mushroom business. And there's so many coincidences that are so bizarre that correlate to what she told me, that makes me think, like, what if we are reincarnated energies? What if that is true? Like,
I believe we are. I mean, I've been told I've been a healer and a warrior all my life, or in my past lives. And, I believe it. I really do. Sure,
yeah,
we go.
It really opened my eyes because I always didn't believe, in past lives, but then all these weird things happen. And she said these things before I even started the mushroom business, and found shamanism, herbalism, and all these other things that mushrooms, just doing magic mushrooms, opened my mind to. Like I awakened to my true self after I did mushrooms, and this is what I was put here on earth to do. But it took the power of mushrooms and like what I refer to as a Kundalini awakening to happen.
And that's,
to
I believe it's your true calling as well. When I got sober, I dedicated my life to love and service, because I knew that's what I was meant to do. That's what I feel comfortable and find joy in doing. I remember a guy told me one time, he says, find something you love to do and make a job out of it. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm kind of doing. I'm not working, but I mean, it's helping others. It's something I've always been good at. I've always been found joy in it, and it helps me along the way too. So it's a win-win-win situation.
Huh. Who's this Facebook user? I didn't even mention the other weird things that happened. I had two other medium people who I didn't even know reach out to me on Instagram once, and they told me they had a message for me, and I never did get the message. Well, at least I don't think I did. But it's just all these weird things that I have encounters with these mediums, and because I don't think they're just random. Like, why do two random mediums message me and tell me the same thing? Like, they don't even know each other, and they both said that there was a message for me.
I went to one time, it was a while back, I went to a quantum healing session. It was really interesting. It was, I'd like to do it on shrooms, but it was, I basically sat there and meditated for 4 hours straight. And we went through, a lot of stuff in my past, and stuff that, I hadn't healed from, I still more. And it was really, really neat. Like I said, I'd like to do something like that again, but I think it'd be more interesting to do it on shrooms, because it allowed me to go deeper into my subconscious.
Yeah, I think another thing that I find intriguing is, I think, and science has never proven it, but this would definitely be a fact, is our DNA may carry ancestral knowledge in it. Like, there may be knowledge, and it would make sense of why our bodies remember that. It would remember the people who came before you, what happened to them, maybe how they died, or some kind of knowledge about how they lived that could be moved on to and stored in your brain somehow. And maybe magic mushrooms are how you get into that DNA, and why we have these weird interactions and feel our connections to the past. And
right. Yeah, because I feel like I've met people that I've never met. It's weird.
And it would make totally sense for our DNA to remember that, like to remember the evolution of its species, like a history of it,
or even on a spiritual sense too.
Yeah. The evil spirits. Now, I felt darkness in my house before, but not evil spirits. They were more or less my own darkness. So that's what I figured out too. When you face and approach darkness in a trip, the room can become darker, and you can literally visually see the room become darker, and you kind of feel it, and as your trauma comes forward, you know.
I believe it too. Facebook
But
user. Stacey,
Light, thank you. Yeah, there's still have a lot of healing to do and a lot of learning to do. My thirst for knowledge is not even close to done, and I guess I'll the day I die is when I'll stop learning. But I really look forward to getting into shamanism more. I barely touch the surface of what I want to learn. Like 10% based on a few books I've read, but I do want to get deeper into it and learn how to incorporate shamanism into, magic mushrooms. And as it becomes more legal, I mean, I'll just follow what the universe shows and gives me. I don't know where this journey will take me. I really don't, because I don't think we know how legalization is going to roll out. But if someday I can make it, I can give people advice of how to do psychedelics. I definitely hope to move into that someday in a more open environment. As I learn more about using them as well, because I know a lot, but there's still so much to learn. Still so much to learn.
Absolutely. And I'm just at the beginning. It's almost like I'm starting my recovery journey over, with a different attitude. Like I said, I had a good recovery program, and then it's just, things happen. We go to our place, we get to a place sometimes where we have a setback, well, the good thing is, people come into our lives that help us come back from that setback. Dan's one of them people. He's helped me a lot. He's got similar, maybe not exact backgrounds, but, mental health background stories, just the diagnoses and stuff are a lot similar. And, so far what I've tried that he's tried has helped, and the lion's mane is main thing I'm talking about. And just trying new holistic things is what my journey is about. I'm done with the pharmaceutical stuff and all the stupid crap, the Western crap they try to teach you. So I'm trying to go back to that holistic medicine aspect and do the healing in the proper way. And I'm grateful for Dan being in my life and learning some of the stuff that he's learning and teaching me as we go. So I'm grateful for one. Thank you, Dan. I'm grateful for that. So it's a good journey, and grateful to be on it. Hey, Gabe, what's up, buddy?
I had this up. I was going to play a little bit of it, but I'm pretty sure I won't get copyrighted for this because there's tons. It's not words, but we'll play a little bit of it. This is some of the music that I listen to. This is actually a video that I've listened to many times, so it has a profound effect on my brain. Yeah, this is it. And you can see there's the sounds here. It's the type of music too that I've listened to. Face the darkness, I guess you could say.
Thank you, Stacey.
And there's a lot of, if you look up chakra music on YouTube, you'll see there are tons of videos, which is awesome. I love that people are doing and using this stuff. But this is a video 30 minutes long, and it actually switches every 5 minutes to a different chakra play using different frequencies. You can kind of hear how it switches, or how the frequencies. And good chakra music will use horns, trumpets, and you can hear the horns there. It's a very powerful music when you're actually in my opinion. This is sacral chakra, each chakra kind of has its own thing, and these different frequencies kind of push.
Yeah, microphone's going out.
Oh, this is too loud. I'll just turn it down a little.
Yeah, it was.
The sound was interfering with it. But yeah, this stuff can have a pretty profound effect while you're on psychedelics if you use the music right. Especially if you have to do a lot of healing and face darkness, stuff can help find that inside of your brain and bring it forth. Put it back in the brain differently. But I also used this music as well when I did trips with my woman I was dating. And these types of music, when played right, can have profound effects as well. Connecting with somebody, that's why I believe that this type of therapy will have profound effects on marriages someday. When you do this with somebody you love and you play this type of music with the mushrooms, and then you do the right setting, it's profoundly crazy what happens between two people, how much they connect and understand each other better. It's something that always blew my mind, and I always enjoyed having those moments. But I still enjoy thinking about them, But you can probably, if you sit here and listen to it, you can kind of feel its effects on your brain. There are, like I said, it switches between all the chakras. And then one portion here gets kind of difficult to listen to because it gets high pitched. I think this is the high pitched part. And I had still playing? It's still black. So I played this high pitched portion once, and it was really interesting. A girl said that if she found it difficult to listen to, and she was a domestic violence survivor, and this portion of the chakra, I think it's the chakra, has to do with violence, with part of domestic violence. So I really found that interesting that she actually found that portion of the music uncomfortable because it was triggering and affecting those memories, Vibrations, all through vibrations, But you can hear right there, it's that high pitched noise she found uncomfortable. And it kind of goes in and out there. You can't hear it now, but you can hear it for a second. But it's just wild the effects this kind of music has. Is it making you go into a trance there?
Oh yeah, and I kid real quick. It's real easy for me to go in because, like I told you before, I practiced a lot and experimented a lot, and I don't know if you call them flashbacks or whatever you call them, but I can get back to that state of mind sort of without thinking anything sometimes.
Yeah. There's that high pitched noise again. It's a frequency that they these are all based on old ancient knowledge, I guess you could say. These just this type of therapy, frequencies. You can go and look online, and there's different frequencies from 100 to 900 megahertz. I think I'm using the right scale. And each one has a different influences on the brain, and that's been proven through science and research that the frequencies can have different effects on different portions of the brain.
This is what I'm going to start using to meditate, and I'm sure I can get that half hour in there, but it might take me a little bit. But it's just sitting here looking at it, I can see how it just eases me. In some spots, I'm sure there'll be frequencies wherever it'll probably irritate me, and it'll be something I need to heal. I'll identify all that later on, but just starting to use something like this will help me get back into that meditating state of mind. I know, me too. I love this. I had him send it to me.
But this song has profound. I mean, it's having changes on my neurons. I can feel it. It kind of it brings this heaviness about me because it reminds me of all the shit that I had to go through alone on my porch, and so it has a profound effect on the brain neurons in a good way. Although after I listen to it for 40 minutes or so, it can become exhausting, heavy.
I don't know if she's still around. I'm sure she is, but I used to, when I first started doing meditation, I was listening to a lady named Teal Swan. She had a lot of good stuff. I don't know if she's still around. Another good lady is Frankie Bollinger. Frankie's awesome.
Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
You have a good night, Jeremy.
The OG teachings, yes. That's why I talk more about shamanism. I'm trying to bring this type of knowledge back, because these people, they understood this. The fact that they understood that frequencies can change, brain activities without having scanners. They were highly intelligent civilization. But they used it through drum work. They had rituals where they incorporated a lot of different sounds into their therapy to try to incorporate this type of, what this music does. So I feel privileged and lucky to be able to have the opportunities to listen to stuff like this compared to, 100 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to find stuff like this to listen to, Cheers. It's calming. Everybody's calming. We're all just sitting here staring at the screen.
We're meditating.
It works really good. That's probably why I listen to this song the most, because I've gone through a couple different chakras. Some of them chakra videos, and some of them don't hit as well as this one does.
I stare straight at the center.
Well, most of the time I never get the visuals because I'm laying on my couch when I did trips to it. It would light the whole room up with this color,
Yeah, I'd like to put it on my big screen.
And also, if anybody didn't know, you can play these videos online without YouTube ads. So YouTube does not put ads in meditative videos, which that's awesome. Everybody should.
Yeah.
They do that, but they do not put ads in meditation videos. For a lot of you people who didn't know that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
So there's some of them are 3 hours long, and I've never seen an ad in them. But I don't think I'm wrong there. But I noticed that when I first started using YouTube and meditating videos, how there were no ads, which makes sense. You don't want you're listening to you're totally in your zen, and all of a sudden this loud ad comes on.
That's very true, Stacy. We wouldn't even know each other existed 100 years ago.
Yeah, we didn't even know it existed 100 years ago.
And that's not that long ago.
Well, made the good choice. The game's already at halftime. It must have started earlier.
Yeah, my wife's down there watching it. She told me last time I was down, she goes, "Hey, football's on." Yeah, I know.
It's all right. This stuff is more important to talk about than
Absolutely.
Although I do love the Chiefs, but I like watching second halves better anyway. First halves are kind of boring.
Yeah.
Who's the Talia?
Nice, Vicky.
Smells definitely have an effect. And this is
And your memory too, Jared.
I'll play in the next video. Okay.
Vicky says she's got a friend that's an Indian medicine man. That's awesome.
there's the 7 locations of the chakras, and then the snake appears above the head. So that's like a perfect description of my first trip too, because that's what happened. That like the chakras become aligned like that, and then the serpent will appear above your head, and it certainly did. I had like a snake chill above my head for 2 hours.
Huh.
That was another weird psychedelic trip, and that's what they refer to as a Kundalini awakening. All your chakras are opened and you become fully aware of what the real world is. Which I think that happened that night. I really do. I became aware of it so much that night. But sometimes they happen without psychedelics. Some people go their whole life without having what is referred to as a Kundalini awakening.
Right.
But this music helped me get there. But yeah, this just shows you that, it doesn't take much to meditate. And we could sit here and play this music all night.
Yeah, you have me tranced out again. I was about there.
Sleeping.
No, just in a meditative state.
It does. And all you have to do is you can play it in another room and just your ears will catch it and hear it. And they also, this type of music is what they put in emotional moments in movies. So if you ever watch a movie and they want to get to your emotional state, they'll play this type of music. It'll include a lot of drum beats or something similar to that. And directors and sound, they know this. It's all science of how the brain works. They'll use these type of rhythms in order to connect with your brain, get your attention during this part of the movie to let you know that it's actually an important part by playing those sounds and getting your attention.
Yeah, that's going to be in my morning ritual. I need to get back to a strict morning ritual.
Yeah, I wish that I need to set up my alarm clock to wake up to that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I'll pick a new chakra sound. I'll pick a brand new one that won't, because that one is so powerful that sometimes it can bring about heaviness, because I use that particular 30 minutes to heal so much that it can bring about a little bit of heaviness.
All right, I'll be right back again. Sorry, guys. The soda's running right through me.
Yeah, I was going to show these earlier today too, because these are important to have. I have a lot of these in my house just to remind yourself while you're doing trips. You can sit here and look at them because these are the truth, and you need your brain to realize that. So sometimes you sit here while you're on a psychedelic and be like, "That's so fucking true," and let those really feed into your head. Because that's what I've learned as well the last 3 years is that vibrations are real. The fact that you can send out vibrations and change your life is 100% fact, and people don't realize how powerful a vibration is. And I even refer to as even a comment or something, making a post on Facebook, that's a vibration. You're sitting there trying to send out a message and attract people. In some kind of way, you are sending out vibrations to the universe, and something usually comes back in return. And when I realized that vibrations are powerful effects of healing is when I realized how powerful my voice is and how powerful my words are, because your words attract people. Your thoughts attract people. Your comments on Facebook, what you write, anything, it attracts somebody. That somebody's brain is looking at it, interacting, reading it, and then having an interpretation. So there are vibrations all over our lives, and people need to realize that they're powerful. But thank you. I think that is, who is that again? I know you told me who it was earlier. Oh, that's Joseph. But thank you for joining, Joseph. I appreciate it. Yeah, positive vibrations, man. Those are powerful things, aren't they, Rasta? Just these things right here, So I have other things around my house that you're unmuted. Stop. But I have
Thank
these
you.
other sides of my house to read while I'm on psychedelics, you know, just to send out vibrations.
Positive affirmations
Yeah.
are so, they do send out great affirmations. You know, I was struggling with self-esteem, and I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. You know, I'd brush my teeth, shit like that, you know, shave, do what I have to, but I wouldn't look at myself.
That was awesome.
But, you know, because I didn't like what I seen. So what I would do is that's awesome. Gratitude.
Those
I
are the
would
7
walk
chakras. That's what they all represent. Every chakra represents kind of something. So.
Oh, hell yeah. And I am is a good mantra. But, you know, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, so I'd walk by and I'd look and I'd go, "You're worth it," and I'd walk by, and you know, and I would do walk-bys, and eventually I was able to look at the mirror and say, you know, you're awesome, and you're worth it. And I even wrote on my mirror, "I am awesome and I am worth it," and it helped me for a long time to build my self-esteem. Looking at that every day, just a positive affirmation. Things I stopped doing was like if I did something, oh, what a fucking idiot, you know. I quit doing things like that because I'm sitting there putting spells on myself. I read a book called 4 Agreements, and it talks about the Toltec tribe, and it talks about how words can be spells, you know. And it talks about how this guy, his little girl was singing, and you know, a little beautiful voice, you know. And finally one day it annoyed him. He was in a bad mood or something. Or the mother did, I think. Anyway, she said, "Would you shut up? It's just driving me nuts. You have an ugly voice." And that gal never sang again, you know. And that spell, or that wording, put a spell on her, you know. And she actually there was more to the story than that. But if you ever get a chance, read that book, The 4 Agreements. It's a really, really good book. And it's just something that I have to remember what I tell myself and how I treat myself. I always tell you guys, be gentle with yourself, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that determines how I feel about me.
Found it. Found the book.
Right on. The 4 Agreements. Yep. Nice.
And this is by the same author.
Yep.
This is an awesome book too. Great book. But I think it's so great of a book. I have 2 copies. I got the hard copy and the soft copy, and then I have it on audiobooks too. But that book, I need to read it again because there's so much knowledge in that book. The shamans, the wisdom of the shamans is worth every dollar to buy it. And get it for somebody as a gift, or get it for yourself. You'll love it. I'm 100% sure of that. It's crazy how much knowledge can be in such a little book, but there really is a lot of knowledge in that little book. Oh yeah, we still got the giveaway. We need to put that up there. Now that we played the chakra music and my brain is now ready to go. And there we go. Back up there we go. We got 15 entries. And again, this is for the Romulan strain canna oil. Pretty strong stuff. 385 milligrams will be a half cup. And I also totally forgot about this earlier. This was going to be a giveaway, but this is going to be a great giveaway next week to mark the anniversary of my friend who passed away. But I made t-shirts. When she passed away, me and my friend designed these t-shirts, and we sold so many of them. We made like $6,000 in t-shirts, like straight profit. We made these shirts, and I still have a lot of them left. I didn't realize I did, but these were specially made shirts, and with, I guess I can bring myself up.
Yeah, I was getting ready to.
I have one on right now. So this is the front of the shirt, and it has an owl on it holding the 311 logo of the band 311. So anybody who knows 311, my friend was a huge fan of them. In fact, I went to 5 concerts with her. So the back of it has the logo, or the words out of one of the 311 songs.
Nice.
It says, "One day you'll see the clear blue beyond the gray sky." It's actually lyrics out of the song "Beyond the Gray Sky" by 311. But she has an endowment fund, and we raised all these money to pay to her endowment fund that now has over $250,000 in it. And basically, her parents had these huge fundraisers, and we had let me bring you back up. These huge fundraisers, and her dad's a doctor and her mom's an RN, so they know a lot of wealthy people, and they just had these parties where they raised 50 to 60 grand. It was amazing. And her endowment fund, it helps women in need in the Quincy area, so it helps like programs like YWCA, and as well as helping domestic violence survivors, women's. So it's all about women that this endowment fund helps. But I'm gonna have to give away. I'll give away some of these T-shirts next week. I literally have like a box of 50 of them. I totally forgot that I had them, and I have them in all different sizes. I'll have to see what sizes I got, but I have them all the way down to infant child sizes. Because when I literally shipped these all over the U.S. like for a whole 6 months, we were selling the shit out. I still blows my mind that we made like $5,000 to $6,000.
That's awesome, man.
Selling T-shirts. But I mean, that just shows you how powerful she was. Like when she passed away, a lot of people referred to it as like Princess Diana had died in our town. That's like what it felt like. So the fact that we made these shirts and then the response we got was just mind blowing. Like her whole family bought all these shirts, and then they were in Aruba. They have like a family reunion out of the country. And all 50 of them put these T-shirts on and they took a picture. Like, it was amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, I got these shirts.
People really come together and they, really show their love.
And I forgot to mention, I got these shirts to 311.
Cool.
So, I went on a cruise in 2013. It was a year after she died. I went on a 311 cruise, and you get to meet the band for 30 seconds. You go in, because 1,000 people will get pushed through to meet the band over 6 hours, so they have to be quick. So literally, I go in the room, and one of them sees my shirt, and he's like, "Oh, that's a fucking sweet shirt." And I was trying to explain to him, but you only have 30 seconds. Like the security guard's literally pushing you out of the room while you're having a conversation.
Right.
You all get in the middle, you take a picture, and then you're just getting out. So I'm like sitting there having a conversation about the shirt. But my friend knew the 311 manager. So right after we got out of there, I handed the manager 6 of these shirts in their sizes to gift to him, So
nice.
Hopefully they got them because they are sweet shirts. Look at that. It's a owl carrying the 311 logo. And the owl was so representative of Sarah because the owl is a lot of people believe the owl takes the dead to the afterlife. And 3 days after she died, there was an owl that came to her mom's house that would not leave. It was on the front porch, and she tried to shoo the owl away, and the owl wouldn't leave. Like literally a couple days after she died.
Wow.
And there's a lot of I believe it's the Egyptian civilization that believes that the owl will come to take the soul to the afterlife.
Maybe that's what was flying around and playing up there in that beam of light.
Yeah, it could have been an owl, but it's really weird that the owl wouldn't leave. So now we leave like owls on her grave. Like the owl is a symbol of her now, because of that happening.
Right. That's awesome, Karina.
I meant to. Why didn't I not? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's a whole tote full of them. I need to start giving them away, and maybe I'll put up we'll talk more about how you can actually donate to her cause, because they still do take donations. And an endowment fund basically works is they give donations based off of interest. So they invest the money, the interest off of that investment goes to help people. So it never dies. It basically lives forever. An endowment fund does.
That's awesome.
So she will live on beyond my years, even after I die. Her her endowment fund will still be here making an impact. And I'll have to play the promo video. Her parents knew a production company who made these awesome videos. And maybe I can find it and just play it because it's really not that long.
Oh yeah.
I made some videos. I think that's it.
I'll put them shirts on your website and raise some more money.
Right. That's not it. You gotta find it. I don't remember why it was so hard to find.
Time is at 9. Yeah, I gotta run out the store here in a little bit.
That's fine. I couldn't find the name. That's not it either. I don't know where it is. I mean, that's something definitely we could talk about later. And I'll let you know, Karina. You'll have to shoot me the sizes to make sure I have some. I don't think I have larges. Is the only. I don't have to look. I have a piece of paper here written with all the sizes. There it is. So they got 15 smalls, 9 mediums, 3 extra, 2 extra large, 2 XL, 3 XLs. So a lot of smalls. It looks like there's way more shirts than that in here.
Yeah, they stack. They look like a big stack. I have a crap load of ODAT shirts. The nonprofit I had. ODAT Recovery Solutions.
ODAT?
Yep, one day at a time.
Seriously? I thought that would have found it. Can't find this video. Still getting some people on the hashtag here. Huh. I wonder why I won't find the video. I'll just have to go to her website, Sarah and Friends.
Great River Cane Oil, guys, for a cup of Romulan coconut oil.
Yeah, that stuff. YouTube, you stink today. Can't find
Out
it.
of this world.
Huh?
I said it's out of this world.
That's not it. Do they not have a website anymore for her? Oh, they took down the website. Now they're just. Well, that stinks. Hard to find that video. Let's try Facebook. You can always find something on Facebook. Huh.
Some bitch.
Some bitch.
Some bitch. What's today? Thursday?
That's that Thirsty Thursday.
Thursday.
Huh. No videos found. What a... Like the video has been deleted off the internet. Oh, well, I'll find it for next time and play it, and we can talk more about it. We got 15 people? How come people are still entering the hashtag, but it ain't going in?
Right, river, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they did. I thought it was at 15 the whole time.
He might have done it earlier. Let me put it in and see if it. See if it works.
The StreamYard would be broken. These weird messages, man. Mom doing the podcast, I get a random message. Hey, I got something for you. I don't even know who that is. Telling you, the creepy messages that I've gotten this week have tripled. I don't know if it's the moon or what, but the amount of this guy doesn't even have a profile. He can't even. Weird.
I don't know. It didn't take mine either.
Did you break it?
Great.
Well, that's weird.
River. Canna. Oil. Scammers, Stacy said.
Well, we'll just give it away and see what happens. I don't know why it's not. Maybe you put it in there and it's just not showing the entries. I've never not seen it do that. So we'll shoot this in, give it away, and see what happens.
Smash that shit.
Smash it. I don't know. I think I counted more than 15 names, or maybe I didn't. Jeremy.
Phelps.
He already left. He went to bed. No, it's all right. We'll still give it to him. I don't think he's ever won anything from me anyway. So
I haven't seen him win anything.
He needs to win something from me anyway. So
yeah, I normally don't get in. I was just trying to get in for the safety.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't know why it wouldn't work. That's weird.
Yeah, weird. No, you never know about technology. One day it works, the next day it don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen the name come by. I'm sorry, guys. I try to make this stuff work, but I don't make I don't make the software. I just use it. So it must have been some error. I don't know what the heck. Maybe it just sat around too long.
No, I've had it sit there for 3 hours, 3 hours. Congratulations, Jeremy.
Karina, that's fine. Yeah, you already got my Cash App saved, so yeah, you can always just place an order and send a Cash App. Anybody else as well, if you ever order through my website, you can press cash and then send the money to Venmo or Cash App as well. But congratulations, Jeremy. He's already in bed. He could have probably used the stuff I'm going to send him because it helps you sleep. It's a coconut oil, Romulan strain, which is indica. So,
right on.
I don't remember smoking it much because I grew 2 plants of it a couple months ago. But I had a whole bunch of trim left over.
I got
So it's probably limited edition anyway. I only have it till I run out of
that's all shake. Well, it was bud. I broke it all up. Trying to get me some to make some canned oil.
Hell yeah. As always, folks, don't forget to hit them smash them reaction buttons tonight. Let's get up to 30 there. We got 16 people in the house. Smash them reactions. Smash them.
Smash them. 25. We got 5 in Misfit. We got 7 on Daniel Baird's, 2 on my page, and 1 on the Ruminating Project.
John Doe, he's here. Angry Face just came in by John Doe.
All
John Doe,
right.
are you here, John Doe?
Are you here? Will the real John Doe stand up?
You know, John Doe, if the pizza's not there in 30 minutes, the pizza should be always free. You know, that's my rule.
Infused 2.
There's John Doe. He's made it. He made it here.
There's the hot dog water. Right on.
Let me make sure it isn't infused too, but I think it is. Make sure that if you enter that, if the code's not right, Karina, just let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's infused too.
Yeah, past tense. INFUSED 2.
No D. I don't think there's a D, but let me make sure.
Oh, okay. I could be wrong. I stand
Wait a
corrected.
minute. I wrote it down at the bottom here. It's infused too. Yeah, there's no D.
Okay, yeah. It's going across the bottom, Green, if you can see it. But yeah, no D. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to blow up.
I can check real quick. Literally in a split second. Because I kind of forgot what it was too, what the code was. Go to codes, products, coupons. It's going a little slower because we're on the internet here. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's infused too. No D.
Right on.
I had set that up too. Next time we can give away some discounts. There's so many ideas I need to run by today, but today was infused 2 right there. That's how you spell it right there, Karina. Anybody else wants to use that? We have $2 off all our infusions. That includes the honey, coconut oil. These are great infusions. They work great for edibles. It's a half cup increments, so you can put it into any recipe that normally calls for a half cup of butter or coconut oil substitute. So that's why I sell it in half cups, because that's about 99% of recipes out there usually call for a half cup of butter or coconut oil. Well, probably more like 90%. I've said too many. There you go. Thank you for putting that out there. I appreciate all the stuff you bought from me, Karina, too. I appreciate the business, and I hope the products serve you very well. Because she's already made a few orders from me. I've already shipped out to her twice.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have blueberry muffin on there too. I still need to add that, so I'm gonna have blueberry muffin, Romulan, and then Ophelia. Now the blueberry muffin and Romulan are limited strains. I only have so much of that, but I do have blueberry muffin I actually grow blueberry muffin, so it's something I'll have more of in the future. And yes, I do sell bigger jars. I don't have that on there yet, but I do sell quart-sized jars for about $65.
That's nice.
Yeah, and that's like 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of THC, so it's a lot.
800 milliliters.
So yeah, it's 8 half cups, so you can basically make so many different recipes with that.
Or 24 ounces. No. It's hard to read this one. 3 cups, 4 cups.
Different flavors of beans. You don't have to specify what you mean. I don't mean coffee beans. Nah. I don't have any of the. I don't know if she was for seeds or?
Oh, if you need to buy more different beans or seeds, Michelle, I can help you with that one. I don't know if you want regulars like you got now,
It says flavor, so that was the word that confused me.
or if you mean different strains or flavors. She just started growing. She's growing her first plant. How's it coming, Michelle?
Gotcha. Trying to get to the NFL game. Oh.
You'll have to send me a picture, Michelle, see how it's coming.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Who ships bud? I don't ship bud. I just ship all the infused products. But I actually have never in my life actually shipped flower, and I don't ever want to.
Message me, Karina. I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, there are other people who do, but I don't, because I honestly I have people to sell it to locally. I don't have any issues with the getting rid of flower part if I need to. So I never would have enough to ship anyway. Possibly, I don't know.
That would be a good one. Message me, and I'll get you set up.
So what have I stumbled across here? We don't even know who that is. You stumbled across the Psychonaut Files. This is a show where we talk about psychedelic experiences and how they deal with mental health and a lot of other things. Tonight we talked about meditation and mushrooms. So we kind of talked about, so that's what you stumbled across.
Yeah, tonight we have a show every night. We do Mental Health Mondays at 6:30, and we do Psychonaut Files and Ruminating Garden. They alternate every Thursday at 6:30. You're welcome. Come back and check out our topics. We talk about psychedelics and cannabis and herbals for healing with mental health.
If you wonder why it showed up as Facebook users, we use a StreamYard app, and I was reading that comment. We use the StreamYard app, and it has to have permission to use your Facebook name. Yeah, Jeremy, you did win something, so you don't have to be here. And my rule is people are busy, so I was going to contact you and just get it shipped to you tomorrow. So yeah, you won some coconut oil, Jeremy. Congrats. Mushrooms and DMT is my jam. Well, then you're in the right spot. This is where we talk about those kind of things here. Open-minded to all things. I've never done much DMT, but my Psychonaut is mushrooms. Cheers. We got another bowl loaded.
I'd like to try the DMT.
Let's watch this beautiful thing go. If I can show you guys.
Smoke freezer.
Smoke freezer time. So you got I just unplugged myself. So it plugs in. It plugs in here to get that thing going. It's at negative 28 degrees Celsius right now. I got some cannabis that's going to run through the ash collector, run through the machine, and it's going to come out the end of this knob here at room temperature or a little bit cooler. It's going to be a nice smooth hit. And then what I got in here is I'm going to put a new filter in. So this is a cotton filter. This is literally how dirty your cannabis gets after 2 hits. That's like 3 or 4 hits. Look how much it filtered out. So
Nice.
cotton balls are cheap, so I'm just gonna put a brand new cotton ball in and filter out some more stuff. So that I really love this filter. This is what really gets rid of a lot of the harshness, and then the fact that you have it's running through a chiller and then it's running through the water. So I got me a nice bowl. You can see it's kind of full, and I'm gonna try to clear it. It's actually 3/4 full, and there's no way I'd be able to clear it if this was not in a smoke freezer. I'm not like I have big lungs, but they usually start to cough. So all you gotta do is light the lighter, and I usually hit this in here to get it going, and then I put this mouthpiece on.
Filling up that ash catcher. And it freezes that smoke to where it's smooth going in. And you can use it for dab or you can use it for flower. They're badass.
Yeah, I just took three consecutive hits without even coughing. I mean, how many other times can you do that?
Right.
And it's pretty too. I can't wait to do mushrooms on and I watch this thing. Because I love colors. Colors are always so intriguing to me when I'm on psychedelics.
I want one Rasta colored.
And this thing really, I feel like it's changed everything now I smoke. Because now I'm getting like a full cannabinoid effect. It's not making me tired anymore. Like when I was smoking cannabis before, I felt like it was making me a little more tired. Even when I was smoking sativas. So I feel like I'm not getting that tired effect anymore as much. Which
No
is weird.
more than custom dab bong or dab rig or something. They're about $300. If you're a Misfit Island member of Misfit Island group, then you can get it shipped to your house for $300.
Yep. And he gives
They're basically a lifetime warranty, and you can get them upgraded for a pretty cheap price. They're badass.
This is cool. This is a great piece of glass. You got to clean it out, but I cleaned it up this morning. That's how dirty it got. So that's how much shit it keeps out of your, from going into your machine.
You can see the percolators in there.
That's why I nicknamed it Ass Collector, because it's collecting all that nasty ass too. So I usually clean it out every morning. I'll run alcohol through it and get all that shit out of there. But it doesn't take much for it to get dirty. The ash collector.
I did too one time, Sander, but we were already tripping on acid, so I don't know how. We were drinking and partying. I was, in high school, so I don't know what happened after, if it increased it or not. I can't remember. Then we dropped more acid. So
we tried doing it too. We put mushrooms and marijuana, and none of us noticed any effect. But I've read before that you can't really smoke it and have an effect.
They do have a layaway program, Karina. If you contact the lowcough.com, or if you get a hold of one of us, we can get you in touch with the guy, Chuck Rock. If you get a hold of Chuck Rock, if you're over at Misfit Island, Karina, get a hold of Chuck Rock, and he can help you out too. He's one of the salesman representatives.
It also comes with a charcoal filter. That's optional. That actually connects right to the end of this knob. You can see here. It just goes at the end here, and then you can have a double filter. You have the charcoal filter, and then your cotton filter right over that. Plus, this device also works well to smoke out of any bong. So you can bring this to a party, put a cotton ball in there, and then you put it over any device to smoke out of, like any kind of bong, and you'll not get germs, and you'll actually have a filter on it too, so you'll filter out any bullshit they have in it.
Yeah, just take a couple cotton balls with you, you'll be good.
Which I think these are awesome. I think he could sell these alone for the fact that you don't have to bring them to parties and not have to worry about getting people's germs.
I like what somebody said. They'd be great for going to an event.
That's literally 4 bowls. That's how much it filtered out of 3 or 4 bowls.
Nice.
Nasty.
Nasty.
I was breathing that in before. Now I can't believe I was. But I haven't. This stuff, the charcoal only lasts like 2 or 3 uses. Where did it go? Oh, it's on my device. It's the only downfall of it. The only downfall of it is you have to, clean it out every 2 or 3 uses. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome device. Changed the way I medicate. Now I don't really have to medicate outside my house. This stuff, get the full cannabinoid effect, smoke it, and you're good to go for 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking less cannabis, I feel like. But I might, what's his name said he was smoking more, but it's because he was using it more.
Right.
I guess I do smoke more cannabis at night because this thing is nice to hit. But sleeping a lot better now.
That's good.
For a couple of weeks there, I was having trouble sleeping. I'm gonna blame it on the smoke freezer. $50 a month payment. See, that's not bad. Not bad at all. The fact is, Detroit is winning too. Detroit is beating the Chiefs right now, 17-14. If anybody didn't know that, that's craziness.
Detroit's beating the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's 2 minutes, 10 seconds. It's going to be an interesting fourth quarter, folks. So we're going to smoke one more bowl here and then probably give it probably end our sesh here tonight. And I appreciate everybody joining us. It's almost at 3 hours live now. Hit that reaction button. Who's going to get that 30th reaction? Who's going to get that? Whoever gets that 30th reaction is going to have an awesome Friday. I'm going to send out great vibrations. Because remember, where's that at? That. What you think, you become. So I'm going to say you guys are going to have a great day tomorrow. Whoever gets that 30th reaction. Don't forget to hit them reactions, shares as well. People do watch this afterwards. I do notice the views do go up a lot. So don't ever think because the episode's over that you still can't share. But I do not know what next Monday's episode is going to be about. I don't think my notebook's underneath here. I'm using it as a laptop holder. I was going to look at the subjects for Mental Health Monday. You know what? The best thing to probably do is something similar to chakras and meditation, since we already did it here.
The hell's up with my bladder tonight, but I can't stop peeing.
Yeah, that's maybe what we should talk about Mental Health Mondays is the chakras.
Oh, I was going to say what? Peeing problems?
Let me see. It'd be awesome if I can get somebody I know about chakras on the episode. But yeah, we could do an episode of chakras that correlates with meditation and what the episode tonight we did. But chakras, mental health, they do, because I found a lot of healing in that chakras, or understanding them. So we do have Rose. She knows a lot about chakras. We could have her. I don't know if she's still here, but
there's the diamonds I got. Yummy.
Beautiful.
I know it. I don't know if you've seen that, Karina.
The worst thing about the football on is I drafted Travis Kelce, and then like 12 hours after I drafted him, he got hurt and he's not playing tonight. That's probably why the Chiefs are losing. Travis Kelce's not in this game right now. So I have the Chiefs backup playing. Noah Gray.
Tasty.
But who else out there plays some fantasy football? I love some fantasy football. It makes it more fun. Put a little money on the line and have some fun watching football. Yeah. Well, how many wanted to make these packages of cookies? Yeah, that's usually what you want to package of cookies are usually the best ways to make edibles. Because all you got to do is add the infused oil and 3 tablespoons of oil. Yeah, you can just put that in there and 3 tablespoons. You're just going to have less potency. For the fact they only want 3 tablespoons of oil. So it must be a non-butter. You can also substitute coconut oil for butter. Butter can be used any. Coconut oil can be used as a substitute for any butter. But of course, then you have to like the flavor of coconut oil. So some people do not like that.
Because you'll be using the half cup or the whatever in 3 tablespoons.
I use coconut oil preferably because it's a medicine in itself. And a lot of you didn't know that there's actually a Brazilian scientist who claims that coconut oil kills COVID. Nobody would study it, but he claims it did. So there is an antiviral effect with coconut oil. So that's why I tend to use coconut oil compared to butter.
What? Really?
Coconut oil is a medication in itself. It's an herbal medicine. But yeah, there might be some fact in there. The guy had a very good scientific explanation of how coconut oil could kill COVID. So I remember reading the story. So it's definitely plausible and possible.
Best uses: bake, saute, moisturize, and more.
Does it say it kills COVID?
Oh,
of course. The fact is that even if some dude could prove that a $10 bottle of coconut oil could kill COVID, there would be absolutely no pharmaceutical companies who would be interested in researching it.
Exactly.
They would prove themselves out of money. What is crackle?
What?
She said, "Do you make crackle?" Shatter. Oh, no. Well, it's more of an artistic way. Now, I do have a press, and I do know people who can make it, but it's more of an art because you have to know, you have to have the knowledge of what temperatures to go at, and
gotta have vacuum.
getting to a shatter consistency is more. It's harder to do at home unless you have a BHO equipment or you use the butane extractions. But I only use heat extractions. Heat and pressure, which is the healthiest way to go. But a lot of the dispensaries, if you buy shatter from the dispensary, that's more likely a BHO extracted shatter, not a heat press. In fact, I'm 100% sure all of them are. I don't think they use heat presses in any of them. Which I don't know why. It's so much better. Like, use a heat press. Press it out with heat and pressure and then sell it like that and not using BHO extractions, but I kind of understand why they do it. You can extract so much more with BHO compared to the commercial level. But none of my products use BHO. You don't have to worry about that. I do not use BHO in any of my products. They're all infused through heat or infused into coconut oil. The FICO oil. So the FICO oil is a chemical extraction using Everclear. So basically, when you put it in Everclear, it's extracting all the cannabinoids in it, and so it's a full spectrum extraction. So it's kind of different than an infusion. You're actually extracting it, and then instead of infusing it, I guess I put that up there so people know what the question was. I know what she meant. She said fecal, but FICO.
Oh, FECO, fully extracted cannabis oil.
I do make that, Karina. I make it here and there. I actually have some right here, but I need to ship that out. I just got to remember that. I got to ship that out to that guy who wanted it. But so I usually make it and I sell it in syringes like this. But that's really rare because I actually it takes me months to make Fico because I leave it in the freezer for months. So I dump the Everclear in with the marijuana, then I stick it in the freezer for a few months. Let it slowly extract that cannabis. Yes, that's correct. That is the cancer busting oil.
It's the same stuff you got from that other guy, but just different.
Cannabis does kill cancer, but this stuff seems to have more profound effects because it's really concentrated. Really concentrated. It's the most concentrated form of cannabis you can really have besides diamonds, but you have to smoke diamonds. You can just eat fecal, or you can just eat Fico.
That's what I got, diamonds.
Yeah, but you can't eat those. If you tried to eat the diamonds, he would not have any psychoactive effect. He has to. You got to apply the heat to activate it.
No, but I will tell you, if you get a little piece on your finger and you stick it in your mouth and you chew on it, it does taste pretty good.
Yeah. Cheers. There we go. We're going to try to clear it again.
Cheers.
Work on that getting old part. Oh.
Oh.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. It makes clearing a bowl so easy. And again, he calls it low cough, not no cough. Because you do cough a little bit, but definitely not as much as I used to.
That's why they call it low cough. Yep. Dabs, or unless you got I have a dab rig, and you heat this up, you drop it in there, put that on top, and that's kind of like your carburetor. It's got a hole all the way through it. That, or you got little things that are like they're nectar collectors, just a little bitty glass tooth with a point at the end that you can heat the end up and do it. And it is kind of messy and inconvenient. It's a quicker way to get stoned, but or to take your medicine, whatever. But it's unless you're used to it, it's a home thing. It's not something you take out with you a lot. I mean, I do sometimes because I got stuff I can travel with it. But yeah, it's kind of messy. It can be.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's 10:15. I got to get up the store and get water before they close.
So that's fine. We're probably going to end it here anyway. I was just thinking of that. I can go watch this football game in the fourth quarter and hopefully have the Chiefs win.
Well, guys, just remember, don't forget the breathing. 3 seconds in, 4 seconds out when you're doing your meditation. It helps. And if you just need to calm doing for a couple seconds, doing that elongated breathing can help and get you to that state where you can calm your mind down and get to that meditative state. And always remember, like I said, guys, be gentle with yourself. Be responsible for your own journey, your recovery, because we are the expert on ourselves. God loves you. I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Love you guys. You have a good night. Dan, I will talk to you later, buddy. I don't know if they're having an after show later, but if they are, I'll see you there.
All right.
Have a good night.
Sounds good, man. We'll see you later.
All right, guys.
And as always, I was actually going to share this story too, since we were talking about shamanic stuff. I'll leave out with this story because I think it's really important to find clarity in mental health and even use these same things while you meditate. So in many shamanic societies, if you came to a shaman or medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, they would ask one of 4 questions. When did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the sweet territory of silence, where we have stopped dancing, singing, being enchanted by stories, or finding comfort in silence is where we have experienced the loss of the soul. Dancing, singing, storytelling, and silence are the 4 universal healing salves. And one of those healing salves is silence. And obviously, when you are sitting in silent thoughts, meditating, you are healing. So I really think it's an old shamanic, description of how shamans approached mental health, and they claim those were the 4 healing salves. So always remember that actually meditating and sitting in silence is actually a universal healing salve and has profound effects on our brains. So I wanted to share that, and I hope that it has an effect on your life as well as it has mine every time I read it, because I try to use those 4 things to heal myself, even dancing and singing when nobody's watching. I'm sure we all do it in our house. Do those things, enjoy them, and don't ever care what anybody else thinks, no matter how silly you look. So as always, folks, don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to forgive yourself. And anything is possible. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Don't forget to hit the reaction buttons on the way out and join us for Mental Health Monday. So we will see you guys then. You guys have a great night. Peace.
Draw me closer to your side. Take your page out of my story. I don't mind. No. Move. Keep it steady, never falter.